And we are live. At least I think we are. Hopefully we are. Good evening, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the 29th of November 2025. Hopefully you can all hear me and or see me. If you could let me know in the chat, that would be much appreciated. Thank you very much. And let's get rid of some of that text on the screen. We don't need that right now. And Poppy is here keeping an eye on things tonight, making sure that I do everything correctly. Although she's going to have to move at some point. Looks like we are good. Okay, let's check out the overhead camera. That appears to be fine, albeit slightly strange colours, but we won't worry too much about that. And the stream desktop, I'm sure that is going to work. Yes, that appears to be fine. Excellent stuff. So yeah, we're all looking good. Good evening. And John David Sullivan says, no, can't see or hear you. Excellent. Remad says, as always, here sound is low. I'm not sure why that would be. I've actually increased the volume a little bit on the mic, so it should be a little bit louder, but clearly it isn't. And the batteries are fully charged, unlike mine. I'm feeling the winter drain at the moment. Not sure if anyone else is. And are you currently in possession of any Black Friday deals? Let us know in the chat. Did you manage to bag any bargains, or are you going to be waiting for Cyber Monday? For some reason, I thought that Black Friday was last Friday. I got really confused about that. I must have been in like some kind of different time zone. But yeah, I thought that it was last Friday and that I'd kind of missed out and there was nothing. To be fair, there weren't that many great deals, although I have managed to bag a couple, of which we'll be seeing in the stream tonight. I wouldn't say that it's been great, but there certainly has been some deals. So as always, if you haven't already, you can feel free to join our Discord. I'll put the links in the description there. So if you haven't already, join, and you can keep an eye on the bargains in the bargains chat room, and also from our eBay bot, which is doing a remarkably good job of saving people money, including myself. It is an absolute godsend. I only wish we'd done it earlier. Although it's still good. I like it. And yeah, this week particularly, I saved somewhere in the region, I think, of about £60, which £60 saving is a £60 saving. You can't go wrong with that. So that normally would have bought another 32 gigabyte of RAM, but we won't talk about RAM at the moment because it's just all bad news, isn't it, when it comes to RAM. Let's not beat around the bush. There is a extremely kind donation from Dan Marner, 50 Canadian dollars, I believe. Is that Canadian dollars? I think it is, isn't it? Have a great stream. CS50 is what, £5? I think roughly Canadian translation is very similar to Australian. So it's roughly about half, I think. So it's about £25. So that's extremely generous. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Let's give you a little thumbs up there and also a heart. Thank you very much. And there was one a little bit earlier I noticed before the stream started from Rick H there, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. It's party like it's 1999, back when RAM pricing was nice, and I had considerably more hair. Although saying that, 1999, I probably didn't. You didn't really. It was. I had a bit of a bush.
You had like.
1999, what did I have back then? I think I just had it cropped and I had it combed forward, and I had a cat flea comb, which was really good at making it nice and fine.
It was a knit comb for kids.
A knit comb, sorry, yeah. It had really fine little tongs, so I could just about get the receding bit going. I was combing over, but rather than combing over from the sides, I was combing over from the back forward, or from just basically anywhere I could comb it from. So yeah, 1999. Those were the days. Hair was a thing. Oh dear. So thank you all so much for joining us. Hopefully you're having a great Thanksgiving. Those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, I believe that started on Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yeah, because it would have been Black Friday, of course. Yeah, silly me. So yes, for those of you in America, or maybe in Canada as well, or wherever you are, if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, then hopefully you're having a fantastic time and also looking forward to Christmas. I've always thought it's a bit of a strange thing with Thanksgiving and Christmas being so close to each other in the States. Doesn't that get awkward or like difficult to work out what you're going to do? I'm assuming that our American cousins do celebrate Christmas, kind of like we do in the UK, where it's kind of like probably the biggest celebration of the year. I would think. I don't think there's a bigger celebration. Maybe New Year's, that's quite a big one as well. But in terms of kind of festivities and giving gifts and taking time off of work and just enjoying time with your family and or your computer or whatever, I think Christmas is kind of the big one. Let me know, in the States, is that the same deal? Is like Thanksgiving kind of like a warm-up to Christmas? I've probably asked this before, but it's never really sunk in the answer. So please do let us know.
I think I said hi to Rick H twice, sorry.
See what deals people have got. So Viali got a Fantex vertical GPU mount. Took around 3 degrees off the temps. Hey, every little helps. Especially when actually a lot of graphics cards these days, modern ones, don't generally tend to get as hot as they did. Especially with some of the triple fan solutions. They seem to be very good these days. Rick says, did Mike say he had a growler? No. Pretty sure I didn't say that. You may have inferred it from my statement, but I didn't mean that. Oh dear. John got gave Black Friday a miss this time. He did tell a lie though. He did get a pedal board for his Fender. Bit of a new venture. Very nice. I think a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, but I think some of us will definitely be kind of edging into other pastimes and potentially other hobbies and interests with the current goings on with the RAM pricing. It is getting absolutely ludicrous.
I recommend crochet.
Crochet is quite a good one. Yeah, Kath does that. Just another Jason Woods in the house. It says, hi Mike, Lady Kath and all. How you doing, Jason? And Susan Robbins is in with us. Old Man Withers, how you doing? David Underhill. Welly Bob. John Walsh, how you doing? Greg M, how you doing? Greg says, I saw no deals that I wanted nor could justify. Fair enough. Mark Barry, no bargains, but did buy a new Christmas tree. Excellent.
You could crochet yourself some RAM.
Crochet some RAM, yeah. Work socks for Greg. J Rich says, good evening, Mike and Kath. Viali says, I have to turn my sound up by 11. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the sound stuff. It's a very strange thing. I did try to kind of remedy it by using the microphone directly pumped into the camera, because the camera's got a preamp into it. And I did do that previously, but I can't remember why we didn't continue doing that. I think there was some possible interference or something with the camera. I'm not sure. Maybe we could try that actually. That might be a thing. I might try that next week.
Who's it affecting?
It is affecting a number of people. So
It used to be William Bodie, wasn't it? And somebody else.
yeah.
It's more now, is it?
Hey, there we go. Dave Aitkins coming with a super chat as well. Dave Aitkins coming with £2.50. Black Friday special, 50% off on all super chats this stream. How does that work? Excellent stuff. Thank you very much. So 50%, is that a thing? Is that happening? Or is that Dave making up things? Whichever way, give it a go. Thank you very much. Let's see, where else do we get to? Leave your audio alone, says Willy Bob. David O'Neill says, if I had waited for Black Friday PC bits I got 3 weeks ago, it would have been $1,000 more, not less. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's difficult to do. Zebedee Boss says, sound on streaming is impossible to get right as a streamer. Please, one and 50 others hear it differently. Yeah, I know the feeling there. It's not great, is it?
Silly Mitty.
Alright, says Mike gets 50% less per super chat. I hope not.
Probably on YouTube.
Who was that? Sorry.
Silly Mitty.
What timestamp was that?
8:22.
822. Ah, there we go. Silly Mitty, Mike, do you plan on game testing with this rig after building? I will do, but it won't be in stream. We're currently still not set up how I would like to be able to stream. it's very difficult with the current setup to actually have an additional monitor and to get the games downloaded and do all that kind of stuff. I do need to work on that. That is something I think is going to be my New Year's resolution, or at least a New Year's goal, to try and figure out the streaming setup so that I can build and kind of work on a PC and see the screen and be able to show you what I can see on the screen without it being either disruptive or just a cable management nightmare. There will be probably some testing after the stream in a separate video, not specifically in this one. So no, unfortunately there won't be. Depending on how we get on, there might not even be a Windows installation. I'm not too sure. We'll see how things go. There are a few things where this PC, which I'm going to be building, has been requested by somebody who's bought PCs of us before. They're looking for a PC for their son to play games like Fortnite and Roblox. They did say a budget of about £1,000, but he said don't make it too mental because they're only 6 years old. So it probably is considerable overkill for that particular goal, but it's the bits that I've got on hand which sort of makes sense for that budget, although I could do it possibly cheaper with other parts. So potentially I might build it up, say look, if you want to, I can reduce the processor. Rather than being a 7800X3D, I could put in a 7700 or a 9600X to take off almost £100 off the price, which realistically in those games with this system you probably aren't going to notice a huge amount of difference. But I've got the 7800s, I've got a couple of them on hand, so I figured I'll put it in there, see how it goes. If he's not interested, then I'll just put it onto Facebook Marketplace. With RAM prices as they are at the moment, I'm sure that someone is going to snap it up. It's always the way. When it comes up to the run up to Christmas, people are desperate and they're just like, just buy it, it's done. So I'm kind of playing the waiting game. Also, the one I built in the stream a couple of weeks ago, the one with the Intel B580, still hasn't sold. I don't know why. It's a great price, around about £700 I think I'll put it up for, with the 7500F, 32 gigs of RAM, nice motherboard, nice case, etc. Decent system, but yeah, I had a couple of sniffs very early on, but absolutely dead, not hurt a single thing. So I might have to do some modifications to that system to get it to sell. I am considering swapping out the B580 to, I'm getting confused with these names these days. I'm going to probably take out the Intel graphics card, I think, and put in a 3060, 12 gig. I think that might help it sell better, but with the market as it is at the moment, again, I don't know whether to just do it or not. I do kind of want to keep the Intel graphics card because it is a limited edition and it's an Intel graphics card, and I got it at probably a bit of an inflated price, so I'm going to lose on it whatever I do. But anyway, we'll see how things go. Yes, there we are. What do I see there? Silly Mitty, hello, I have this 7600X3D paired with a 5070 and honestly wanted to see how it compared. Hope you get the streaming soon. Okay, no worries. I think the 7600X3D and a 5070 is going to be excellent. It's pretty much the sweet spot, I would say, for gaming without spending ridiculous amounts of money. I think the 5070 is possibly a little bit on the, well, still a little bit on the expensive side, but it's still a great card. You can't go too far wrong with that. Yeah, it might get to the point, looking at what Lead Farmer said there, it might get to the point where someone will buy the PC just for the RAM and then just do something else with the bits. It is a little bit nuts. Riley says, a PC of this spec might last out the RAM prices. The Sun might only be 6, but for the future owner, the spec and budget is future-proofing the system, and it's is well looked after. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice system. Remad says a 6-year-old child £1,000 PC is not normal. Yeah, it's a strange thing. It's some people just are like that. I'm reasonably sure that the chap or the bloke who's going to be buying it or potentially buying it, he's doing all right for himself. So I think he's probably a little bit flush, so just giving a little bit extra to his kids. Like when he bought the one last year which was the 14700K with the 4070 Ti Super in the Series 330, all with the back to front stuff in there. That was a great PC. I think that sold for about £1,200. So, but then that was for his daughter, I think was a little bit older, maybe teens, mid-teens. But yeah, if you got the money, why not? Happy children make for a happy life in general, I think.
You're just judging that on Poppy.
Matthew Day says, adopt me, please. Hey, Nicholas Barlow, how you doing? It's nice to see plenty of you in the chat tonight. We've got, yeah, quite a few of you. Oh, I was looking at the views, not the viewers, sorry. I thought, oh, the viewers are looking pretty high today. I understand there's lots of things going on. People are seeing family, etc., festivities, whatever. I get it. But thank you all for watching. Ashley says, I worked in mobiles. Parents buying 10-year-olds £1,000 iPhones because their friends have them was very common. It is definitely a thing. Yeah, I used to always buy the kids like cheap Android phones until they got to the point of them buying their own.
iPhones to start with, and Angel's never had an Android.
Oh, Bob says, remember to hit the like button, folks. It's free. It certainly is, at least until YouTube decides to tax that as well. Wayne says, luckily I got a warning months ago from my Taiwan supplier and stocked up on a ton of DDR5, cleaning up at the moment. Yeah, oh dear. I do regret not buying more DDR5 back in the summer when it was good. But the thing is, it's always a gamble, and it's like Bitcoin or just gambling in general. You never really can tell for sure what's going to happen. If you get some insider track, and they say, look, this is definitely going to happen, then yeah, that's pretty good. David Under says, I buy myself cheap Android phones. I used to always spend about £150 to £200 on a phone. And I went through the Xiaomi Mi A1, the A2, I think it was a Motorola one as well. And I used to just keep on going through them, like every year to 18 months. It'd be like, oh, I have to get another one. Sometimes less.
That's why you went iPhone.
Yeah, and they never lasted. So I ended up spending more on Androids than I ever did or would have done on an iPhone. And I bought the iPhone XR almost a month, I think, after it came out for about £600. And that lasted me the best part of 7 years. So I thought that was a pretty decent investment. Yeah, it still works now. Just I don't use it. Kath's got hers there as her backup phone. Yeah. Silly Mitty says, from 2 weeks ago, DDR5 RAM increased almost twice in price. Yeah, it's just rare. It's getting ridiculous. It is getting ridiculous. Hey there, Scott. How you doing? David says, my current Android phone is 5 years old and costs $199. Done well there. Very well.
Yeah, because what did I have at the time? I had an iPhone 4S, was it? No, just an iPhone 4, I think.
I think so. Yeah, RAM prices are despicable. Anyway, let's talk about some of the Black Friday deals. Now, the first one, if I can actually find it, is down here somewhere in my my pile of boxes. So that's not that one. It's not that one. Move that across. This was an incredible bargain from eBay UK using our bot. Finally got one, a 9070 XT. This is the Asus Prime OC model, 16 gig. This was, well, these normally retail here in the UK, general pricing, somewhere around the sort of 550 mark. They have recently dropped down to about 539 in some places, so a little bit less. That's pretty much the price they tend to go for. Normally, the lower end of the market here in the UK, you've got the Asus Prime and also the Sapphire Pulse, I believe, and sometimes one of the XFX models. Yeah, XFX. Those all tend to be just above the £500 mark here in the UK. So this was actually on, it's strange actually how it happened. So this was posted on the Discord bot, and it was, a seller was selling these for £486 and some pence. And they seem to have a lot of them in stock. I think it was probably about 40 or 50 of them. So posted that on the Discord, seen it on the Discord, looked at it, had a look, and I thought, I am tempted because I have wanted to try one of these for a very long time, but I'm still thinking, still close to £500. I'll just go off and do something else. So I went off and did something else, and then for some reason there was a Black Friday deal on eBay where they were giving out 20% voucher codes using, I think it was Black Friday 20 was the discount code. So I went back to the screen and it said that I could take that discount off this price. So this took it down to, I think it was £411, maybe 412, somewhere around that. So it was just over £400. At that price, yes, obviously it's an absolutely cracking deal. Obviously, it's an AMD card, so it is going to devalue pretty steep, pretty quick. But it's going to take quite a lot of devaluing, I think, to get it down to that price where these are available at retail for that sort of price. I think that's going to be a long time. Used market, possibly. But on the new market, just over £400, I feel I got a absolutely cracking deal on that. So, yeah, that is basically the story of it. And essentially what I want to do is, I have got an RTX 4080 in my video editing PC. And a few people have told me recently that actually the AMD card, this one specifically, seems to be really good in Adobe Premiere at the moment, especially for timeline scrubbing, which is the one area where I do struggle. Rendering speeds probably won't be as good, but I figured what I'll do is, because this actually competes actually pretty well with the RTX 4080 in general, I figured it'd be a good thing to give a test to see what the deal is. Whether or not AMD has come far enough with this particular RDNA to make it a viable choice for video editors. So that is the kind of the reasoning behind it. I have also got in that PC, it's an Asus keyboard, Asus mouse, Asus motherboard. Most of it on there that I could get is Asus. So actually having an Asus card in there as well just kind of made a bit of sense. It didn't really, but it kind of does. Let me know in the chat, am I the only one who does that, where I like to match up the graphics card or the parts in general with a brand? So like an MSI graphics card and an MSI rig, Asus graphics card and an Asus rig, that sort of thing. I know there's some brands, obviously, you can't do that. So things like XFX and maybe Sapphire to some extent, maybe that isn't so accurate now because they do motherboards as well. But in general, do you like to kind of keep brands together? I kind of do. To my own distraction, really, because it ends up costing me more than it would normally, because I could get an MSI graphics card for my MSI PC, and obviously that's going to cost me a lot more because you pay the MSI tax and potentially the Asus tax, etc. If you went for a Sapphire or an XFX, then generally they come out cheaper. But anyway, John says, I try to, but most times I mix and match.
I like it when they have the bloody YouTube names proper.
Yeah.
This is confusing.
Just Me Scott says I do that as well. Excellent.
I'm probably saying hi to the same people over and over because it's confusing me.
Rampy says no, it makes sense because of the ecosystem. Definitely for RGB lighting wise, yeah, it certainly does. Remad says no, Power Color VGA MSI motherboard. O'Reilly, but for me, I'd rather build to budget, mix and match if I don't have funds. Cool. There's Lucky Man. Hey, Lucky Man, how you doing?
Was he lucky on Friday?
Let's hope so.
Did you get any luck?
Rasher says no, whichever is the best price I go for. Fair enough. That is fair. Sinister Chef, my whole rig is MSI except for the AIO and a few fans that are Arctic. Cool. David Underhill says the regular price for the 9070 Pulse is 469 quid in Aussie. So for the Pulse, yeah, that's pretty good. The XT version, if that's what are you referring to the 9070 or the 9070 XT? Normally the XT is about 50 to £100 more expensive, but still, yeah, I think it's. I think I got a pretty good deal on this. Smudge says, I've been looking at the same GPU, but the RX 9070. to pair with my 5800X, upgraded from an old GTX 1080. Excellent stuff. Dave Ventus says I always go MSI except for memory and GPU, which is Sapphire. Yeah, it's a shame MSI don't do RAM. I'm saying a lot of the brands don't really. I guess there's no reason why they can't, but maybe they got deals with the other suppliers, so they keep out of the market for some reason. I don't know. It is strange. Right. Do you want to see what the card looks like? It literally just kind of looks like what it is on the box, but if you want to see it, let me know and I will unbox the sucker. You can have a look. Type it in the chat, get it out.
Get it out.
I might have to move Poppy. Poppy, you happy to move? No, clearly not. Get it out, yes. All right, let's have a quick look. I have opened it to make sure that it is working. Well, not working. It is actually in the box, not just like a brick or stone. Yeah, this is the first new AMD card which I've bought since, I'm trying to think of the last brand new MSI card I bought. Sorry, not MSI, AMD card. I think it was the 7800 XT, which I regretted that immensely. And I lost a load of money on that one as well. Whip it out.
SSD, not dads. Any recommendations for SSDs? It's been years since I bought one.
SSDs. At the moment, the cheaper brands tend to be Western Digital. Generally, have got some deals on for the SN 580s. Those tend to be quite good pricing. Other than that, it's just shopping around. I got MSI did the Spatium, which is listed in our chat. Spatium M461. Those were on special offer for about £44, I think. No, Dave. Just because I've opened a box doesn't mean you can go in it. No.
Hello, David.
So there we are. There is the Radeon RX 9070 XT, the Prime Edition. Nice things about this, and some bad things. Pros, triple fan, so it's going to be a little bit quieter and a little bit cooler than it would be if it was a dual fan model. Also, there is a switch, so it has a dual mode BIOS, so it has a performance mode and a quiet mode, which I wasn't sure if it was actually just the fan profile setting, but apparently it has a dual BIOS, so that is quite nice for tinkering around if you want to maybe undervolt it and kind of bake that into the BIOS possibly. Downsides, one of the obvious downsides straight away, as you can possibly see it already, is it requires 3 PCI Express connectors, which is kind of strange. This card in theory should only draw a maximum of I think 320 watts or somewhere around that region, which is basically the same as the original RTX 4080. So why it needs 3 connectors, I'll never know, because that's basically 110 watts per connection, which, as we know, most of those connections will do kind of 300 watts anyway. So you could probably just about get away with 1 at a push. 2 would be sensible. 3, I think, is just ridiculous. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's down to the PCB design. Maybe they've spread the power out over multiple rails rather than buying better components to make it work on fewer. I don't know. I don't know enough about graphics cards to enable me to validate that one way or other, but it seems like a nice card. Typical Asus Prime fashion, very minimalist. No RGB lighting on there, which actually is probably a bit of a blessing. The blow-through cooler section isn't particularly large, which I would have thought they would have tried to make it bigger, but saying that, the PCB kind of goes pretty much to there anyway, so there isn't a great deal more they could have done other than elongating it. So yeah, I think it's going to be fine. There's nice and open on the sides to allow the air to escape. Yes, Kath?
Oh, Bob.
Mike, I have two 9070 XTs on my radar. One has a vapor chamber, the other does not. Both are triple fan and both are for XFX brand. So does it matter re the cooling? I don't think it does, not really. If you go from the best performing 9060 XT on the market down to the bottom performing one, the difference in temps between them is normally about 6 degrees between the best to the worst. So there isn't really, of this generation, there isn't actually a bad 9070 XT. I think this one is towards the middle or the lower half of the stack. Also a vapor change, potentially depending on the way you mount the graphics card. If you're thinking of mounting it vertically like this, some vapor chambers don't actually like that. They like the card to be positioned in a traditional orientation, like horizontal. So that, I guess, would be one thing that you possibly want to take into consideration. Although saying that, I think vapor chambers now are probably designed a little bit better, and those little kind of things have been ironed out, but I'm not too sure. Silly Mitty says, I believe each connector can support up to 150 watts. Maybe that is the case then, so yeah, it's just pushing over that extra connection. There are a lot of XTs on the market which only use two connectors, which is why I kind of, when I saw this at the £486 price, I was like, I might spend the extra money just buying one with lesser connections because it's just less hassle. And I was even considering the Sapphire, what's the top of the range Sapphire one, which uses the 12 volt 2x6 connector. I was looking at that and thinking, should I just spend the extra money and get that? Just so I can have one connector. But then when this dropped down to £410, it was like, no. I will swallow whatever indifference I have going on in my mind, and I will use 3 cables, and I will be happy to use 3 cables. I haven't used 3 cables actually on a GPU since the 9600, which was quite a while back, probably a good 2 years ago, maybe 3. Nitro Plus, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Hydro says, I have that Asus Prime 9060 XT. It's a beast. Good. What is the idle wattage like? That is something which does concern me a little. Because with my 4080, my idle wattage is normally about 7 watts, even though I'm running a dual monitor setup. I'm only running 1440p on one and 1080p on the other, so I'm not really taxing it too much, but I would be a little bit concerned if this was using sort of 40 watts or something, which some people have said it does, although other people have said that theirs will quite happily idle at about 7 watts as well. So I'm not too sure. Clearly it's going to be a bit more power hungry than a 5070 or 5070 Ti with kind of similar performance, but because I've got the older RTX 4080, that in terms of power and also performance is basically exactly the same as this, within kind of spitting distance. And some games are going to do better, some games are going to do worse. Obviously ray tracing isn't going to be as good on this, and games which use DLSS 4 aren't going to be as good, obviously, but for the games that I play, which are generally not a lot, a little bit of Fortnite and maybe some CS2, that's about all I play these days. So yeah, maybe the Radeon card wasn't a very good idea for those particular titles. For the AMD, it's probably fine for CS2, but for Fortnite, I think NVIDIA is probably the way to go. But I will try it. I will see what it's like.
Laughing and lots of parts coming up.
Oh,
Is that Bobby?
I don't know. Max Samuel says, my Pulse 9070 is 220 watts max. Yeah, it's weird how the XT just uses so much extra power, yet it isn't like a dramatically more powerful card as far as I can tell. But I've generally not looked into Radeon cards a great deal recently, because the entire market is almost fixated on NVIDIA, and I generally tend to use NVIDIA. Then yeah, that is what I really kind of pay attention to. But it's going to be nice to try this out and see what a kind of a NVIDIA loyalist thinks of the new RDNA range. And yeah, see if it can replace my 4080. What's the link?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I've put it away now. If only you got the question in quicker.
Could you measure properly and then get a guesstimate?
Let's see if it's got the measurements on here. It probably has somewhere. Although being able to see them, I don't know. Someone find out how big this is and put it in the chat. It's probably about, I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. I'm not even going to guess.
Well, it goes, look, you can add it then. Look, it goes from the N to O.
Does it?
For the G to the
Goes from the G to the what?
O.
G to the O. So that's about,
Roughly.
yeah, about 14 inches, which is around about 360 mil. You can look it up. It's easy enough to find. David says, Mike, AMD has made huge strides since the RX 6000 series cards. Cool. Old Bob says 360. Excellent. Thank you, Old Bob. Old Bob says, get it out and measure it then. Oh, for God's sakes. Right.
Wish you'd do stuff for me like that. Get it out. Measure it.
Viali says that RDNA is far better than N-Shitia. Hello. David says, Mike, ray tracing and video editing on 9070 XT is equal or better than RTX 4080. Excellent. In that case, hopefully I will not be... Actually, I don't need to take it out, do I? I will not be disappointed. So, from... Actually, it's a little bit shorter than I thought. It's 315 millimeters. Almost 12.5 inches. So, it's actually a relatively compact card, considering.
What's the girth?
I'm not giving you the girth. If you want the girth, you're going to have to pay for the girth. You don't get a girth for free. He says. Okay. So that was my... Am I? This was probably the best deal that I had. £411 for that is stunning. If it works, great, even better. If it doesn't, it will be going back on eBay. Now the next bargain is a slightly unusual one. So there were two bargains.
Members only have the girth.
Members only can have the girth, I suppose, yeah. Let me see if I can find the other thing now. I haven't even opened this yet, actually. Has it got any dodgy labels on it? No, it hasn't. Oh dear. I'm going to put the other light on, actually, because it's getting a bit dark over this side. There we go, it's a bit better. Poppy, can I, it's all right. Stay asleep. There you go. Now Gramps' chair. There you go. Gramps' chair. All right, screw you.
Oh, I want to like the granny.
Okay, you can probably see what it is already. So this is a AIO from Gamdias. I think I've pronounced that right. I'm not entirely sure. This is the first, I think, product that I've ever bought from Gamdias. And it was on Amazon. This was on the deal. The Aorus GL360 LCD edition. So this actually has, this is actually quite strange, that this has a 4-inch IPS LCD screen, which is basically what I've got there. It's probably not quite as configurable, and arguably it's probably not going to be quite as luxurious as the Thermaltake version. But this at the moment, with the 4-inch screen, is retailing for £60 on Amazon UK, which I think is incredible value for money. If you think like the Thermalright 360s, the V3s, Aqua Elites, they're still going for about £40 to £45, sometimes as much as £50. So this at the moment for £60 with the LCD screen, which you can download software, you can configure different things to be shown on the screen, etc. I think this is brilliant value. I really do. And some of the things it also does is it's got daisy chain wiring, which some of the Thermalrights don't have. So I saw this and thought, I like this. I want to get one and I want to try it. So let's get a sharp object and we'll actually have a look and see what it's about, because you'll be finding out about this the same time as me. I think this is actually a genuinely interesting product, which, to be fair, in PC these days, there aren't that many. And it was Thermalright, which were absolutely stealing the show with all of their really good products and all of their excellent pricing, especially for the kind of more budget orientated buyers, or just people who just didn't want all the faff. They just wanted an AIO or just a normal cooler and didn't want to spend a load of money on it, because ultimately a CPU cooler is doing just one job. It's cooling your CPU, and as long as it can do that, do you need to spend a couple of £100 on a cooler? Maybe not. Yes, if you like it and it's got special things like swappable blade fans or whatever it might be, then obviously spend the money. If you like it and it looks good and it suits your purposes, do it. But with this, you may not have to. So let's go to the overhead shot and we'll show you what is included, because again, I'm finding out for the first time, same as you. So we've got all of our accessories and fittings in there. Looks like we've got color-coded bits, and also there is a USB Type-C for the display, which is nice to see. It's not using micro USB or some nonsense like that. And inside we have the cooler itself, and that is a nice screen, nice big screen. Does that come off in any way, shape or form? No, it doesn't appear to. That's actually a really nice big cold plate on the bottom as well. Elongated cold plate, so that should soak up the heat. Oh, flame! Darn nammit. Selecting all the text.
Where are you going, flame? In the way of the camera, mate.
So, for wiring purposes, for the actual pump, you've just got a standard 3-pin water pump header, rather than PWM, but
I can't see much.
that's not a huge problem. It's on overhead anyway. I don't think there's anything else in there of any excitement. And the fans come pre-installed on the cooler, which is nice. And also there is a refill port on the side. Do not tamper with this or remove. Warranty will be void. So yeah, don't go filling it up. And there are the fans. Yep, no damage, good. And I'm trying to see how they're actually connected together. It looks like it's a block connector inside. So all you've got coming out of this end is a 4-pin PWM and a 5-volt 3-pin addressable RGB. So that is pretty sweet. I'm going to take some of these screws off and see what the deal is and see how these are actually connected together.
6053, 854.
854. Oh, I can't see it. I'm going to have to scroll up. Degu, would you say if I gave my friend my case, my 220T with 6 fans for £60 or £70 and get together either a 360 or frame 4000D? Yeah, the 220T is kind of showing its age a little bit these days, I think, personally. The 4000 frame is an excellent bit of kit. And actually, we've had one in from our good friend of the channel, Colin Hilton. He's actually been down to visit us this week and brought down a 4000 frame for us to review and take a look at. And from my initial experience of it, it looks like it's an absolutely cracking case, which explains why it is so popular. The original 4000 was pretty good, but the 4000 frame takes it to another level altogether. So yeah, if you can sell your existing one, I would. I don't think the other ones have got much value these days, personally, but that is just my opinion. So how do these come apart? I don't really want to break it.
David Underhill at 856.
856. Question, what do you do with all the spare mounting bits? I have a box full of them. I put them in the motherboard box and I give them to whoever buys the PC, or I just keep them in case I'm going to be swapping out. Right, that answers the question how that works then. So yeah, they are on block connectors. Hopefully you can see that. And they just push together. Like so. That is awesome. I like that, and also that's pretty handy. So If for some reason when you're putting it into your case you want to wire it that way, with the wires out that side, you can do pretty easily, or you can wire it with it around this way. So whichever works best for you. That is a nice solution. I like that. I like that a lot, as they say. So that is a pretty good. I like that. Let's go back to the main camera. So yeah, you can see essentially what is included. I think for the money, especially with that LCD screen, that is incredible. And I've got a sneaking suspicion, if I plug in a USB Type-C cable to that LCD screen, we can just fire it up and see what it displays as a kind of a default. I've plugged in my USB hub at long last, which I've been meaning to do for such a long time. Where is the USB connection on this? Ah, there it is, hidden. Is that going to be enough juice? Does it need anything else? Oh, there we go. It's booting up. Gamdias. You can rotate the display on the screen. It sounded like it needed a driver or something, so it probably does need software installed on there to make it do anything at all or anything useful. That is quite common with some of the cheaper models. There is a film on here as well, so you can remove that. So if there is reflections, obviously that is just because we have that in place. But yeah, it looks like it needs the software on there to do anything of any use, which is a little bit of a shame. But nice if it just showed the pump temp or water temp as a default, which some others do. I guess that's why you pay the extra for some of them. But yeah, we will be doing a review on this anyway, because I'm not going to be using this one in the build tonight. I'm going to be using the other one, which is the cheaper version of this without the LCD screen, which was about £40, which I thought was, again, was excellent. So anyway, USB Type-C, that makes life a little bit easier. So if for some reason you actually lose the cable that it comes with, you can easily get one. Well, most people have got a USB cable knocking around. Either one you can plug into the back of the computer, or you can plug into the header on your motherboard. That's where you should really do it from. Yeah, I think that's worked out pretty well. Let's get the screws back in this, and then we'll get on with the main part of the build. And I'll just take a look at the chat. Iropen says, how much will you charge for your RAM? I will charge whatever I paid for it. That stupidly is the way that I generally tend to work. So all the bits that I sell in a PC, I sell them at what they cost me to buy. Which I know there's going to be people out there screaming, saying, why are you doing that? It's a stupid thing to do. You should try and make some money on it. But the reality is, half the time I struggle to make people buy things at cost anyway. So if I put the prices up even more, then I wait even longer. I generally try to aim so that a PC sells within like 24 to 48 hours of me listing it. And by doing what I feel is the lowest price that I can get away without losing money, for me it feels good to do it. I'm passing on some savings, and of course if there's been anyone, viewers, friends, whatever, who have given me or donated parts to the channel, then normally I kind of let those go basically for free, like trying to pass that goodwill on, which I know is a little bit of a kind of outdated concept in this modern world, but I don't know. I like to think that I'm trying to build up my karma points, and it may pay me back one day. But yeah, I think it's just a nice thing to try and do. If people have been good enough to you to help out, then why not try and pass it along? If more people did that, the world possibly wouldn't be in the state it's in. Now, I'm not aiming for like an all-out communist state, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think a little bit of goodwill like that goes a long way. There's far too many stories of people ripping people off, and especially like some of these PCs you see, like gaming PCs with a GT 710 or a GT 730, and people selling for like 500-600 quid. All kinds of ridiculous stories you see online. And it's just, yeah, I don't need to do that. I don't have to do that. I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where we are given stuff to review quite frequently. And yeah, it's just nice, I think, to try and give some of that back. Even though some people don't appreciate it and don't even realise it, they're just, oh, I'm spending hundreds of pounds on a PC for my kid, and
for the sale twice.
yeah, last week. Yeah.
Have you said about that?
Not really, no.
Oh, that's a
They haven't spent a lot of money on this box. It's almost coming apart. Yeah, last week, the PC that I was trying to sell, normally when I sell a PC, we fire it up in the front room, just so that people can see it working, because I know there's a lot of people out there who do want to see that because they don't want to get scammed. And also for my own personal safety, because I know if I've got the PC running and they've used it and tested it, money's transferred, etc. Once it's been put in the box and they're happy, it's like, right, you've seen it working, you know it works. If anything happens to it during transit or when you get it home, that's on you. Like, I'll help you if I can, but you know that this isn't a faulty PC or it's not a scam or anything like that. So I think, again, that goes some way of giving you a little bit of kind of reassurance that I'm not like some scam artist or something. I'm trying to be a decent human being. And also, potentially they might want to ask other questions or ask, well, you know what people are like when they're buying stuff. If they know what they're buying, generally they will kind of test it and ask questions. More times than not, they just say, yeah, it's fine, it works. I'm happy with that.
We had one, didn't we? Boxing it back up himself quickly.
Yeah, we did, yeah. One bloke did it. He was boxing the stuff up so quickly. It's like, you were like in a hurry to get out of here. Like,
and he didn't even have a car. He took it on an Uber, didn't
he?
He hadn't even ordered it.
He hadn't even ordered his Uber, and it was, yeah, that was a strange one.
Was that the one?
I think so, yeah.
It's like, hurry up, Mike. He's like actually boxing it up himself.
Yeah. I thought he was rushing to get a box or something, but a bus. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot the kettle lead, I think.
No, I think you just didn't want him having the one off the setup in there.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So Gamdias Aura GL360 LCD looks like a winner to me. It really does. So if you want to, the links are in the video description. So if you want to pick one up now, you can do. I should say as well, with the Amazon affiliate links, we do make a very small commission. So if you make a purchase, we get a very small kickback. It's like 1% or something for the majority of things. So obviously we're not going to get rich quick, but every little helps.
And I don't think it's available for America, was it?
Oh yeah, it might not be available in the US, but it might be put under a different link or a different name possibly. Sky says, I don't think taking advantage of the RAM situation is ethical. Yeah. It's not really. Obviously there's scalpers out there already. I don't really want to join them. Sky also says, got to cover your costs plus a little bit for your time when putting together a PC for sale. I kind of try to. It generally doesn't work out. Again, I'm quite often I'm more reliant on trying to sell the bits at kind of like the cheapest price I can, or like if I do a video like the one I did the other day where £700 PC, so these are the bits I've bought, I've got some deals. You may or may not be able to replicate those deals, but that's what I got it for. That's how I try and work things out, and that's how I sell things. So for this PC for tonight, if I just look at my list, the CPU cost me 220, the case was 90, the cooler was 40, RAM was 90, the motherboard 120, the NVMe was 50, the GPU was 330, power supply is 50, and Windows is a £5. That totals up, I believe, unless I've added it up wrong, to £995. So about £5 shy of our £1,000 kind of aim for budget. Yeah, I think that's it. Sky says, Gamdias is sold in North America. I use their cases. They are pretty good. Cool. Davis says, most of those Amazon link products are cheaper direct from dealers here. Yeah, we're in a weird position in the UK that Amazon, in general, unless there's like deals on, Amazon tends to be quite competitive in terms of pricing. So that's why I like to use them, and also for returns purposes, it's a bit easier. So right, let's get started. So I'm going to grab some bits.
We are trying to go to.
Yeah, we do shop around other places, but I often find myself getting frustrated by them, so I don't. Especially some of them. I'm not going to mention any specific names, but some of them, just getting hold of them is just like a pain in the ass. Anyway, so this is the other version of that cooler. So this is the Aura GL360 V2. Kind of the same thing, slightly better pump, I believe, but doesn't have the LCD screen, which for our purposes is great. This one I think was £40 or £42 or something ridiculous for a 360mm AIO with a nice surrounding pump. And I gotta say, I would be very surprised. I don't think Gamdias actually make their own stuff. And this to me screams of deep cool. This looks very much like the deep cool. I'm trying to think what their cooler is with the same pump head. But it does look like almost identical. I don't think this is going to have quite as nice fans in terms of connections, but it just, yeah, it just looks very, yeah, those fans are basically deep cool. And the pump is, I would say that, has that got a magnetic top on it? Or a removable top? No, it's got a rotatable top. So, I don't know, maybe. But it does look very, very similar to some of the deep cool ones I've used in the past. And what have we got? So 3 fans. Trying to see, those look like they might actually be blocked together fans as well. I do want to check this out actually before we get started to see if they are actually daisy chain fans. I'm guessing they are. Yes, they are. So 4-pin PWM, and they've got a different type of daisy chain connection, which looks like some sort of proprietary 6-pin job, but that means there's very little wiring, so that makes me very happy. And the fans all look to be in good condition, so excellent start. Again, I'm a big fan of Thermalright and their cheap coolers, but I don't like all the wiring you have to do, and some of it is a bit messy. So this is going to work out really well for me. Although the case we're putting this in has actually got an 8-port hub in it, so it isn't really a problem anyway. So motherboard wise, got this Gigabyte one, and also we've got the DDR5 Pro, which we've seen on the channel a few times. And also I managed to snag a deal on these. These were the MSI Spatium M461s. These were a weird one. They were on Amazon and they were on a pre-order. I think we waited about 3 weeks to a month for them to turn up. 5-year warranties, PCI Express Gen 4x4. It's not the fastest drive out there, but it's a 1TB NVMe. I'm pretty sure it cost £40 or £44, which most drives these days of the 1TB variety are somewhere in about the £55 to £100 mark. So that was a pretty decent saving. This crucial DDR5 Pro OC RAM, at the moment I think this particular kit is like 190 quid. This again was a pre-order from Overclockers, and I managed to get this for £89.99, which is an absolutely incredible price. So I'm very happy with that. CPU wise, this one and its cat hair is from Comet Crash on AliExpress. This one cost £226.92, which wasn't a great price for the CPU, but I'm going to factor that into the build, and hopefully there'll be some swings and roundabouts to counteract that. Is that NVMe TLC mic, is Bob is asking. I believe it is. I haven't checked, although I think I did at the time, but I could be wrong. So please do feel free to investigate that on my behalf if you wish. So I think we should start building. Yes, Gaff?
President TA.
What time? Oh yeah, got it.
9:12.
President TO has got a questionnaire. After a BIOS update, my PC became unstable. Even after rolling back, I get TLB errors, low performance, and random reboots, even idle. RAM tested fine. Any idea what's going on? Have you set... Is it a DDR5 based system? And if it is, did you then go back in and reset the RAM up with the enable power down and the context restore? If you didn't, you would definitely need to do that. That, I think, would probably be the most likely thing to do, especially after a BIOS update, because it removes those things anyway. So you might find that the enable context restore is set to auto, and also enable memory power down is set to auto. Just make sure those are both set to enabled rather than auto, and you should find your problems go away.
Discord if not.
No, it's DDR4. If it's DDR4, I don't know. that is a difficult one. Make sure XMP is enabled. So yeah, I'm not too sure. You might want to join our Discord and have a chat about that one. Not really something I can go into too much depth in a stream, unfortunately. Hey, Tough Enough, how you doing?
I'm Mini Hilly.
And Mini Hilly. Is coil whine for the 50 series common? My new 5080 has a bit of coil whine. Sometimes they do when they're new, or if you're running it at ridiculously high refresh rates. So if you're running it at 1080p, an older game, and you haven't got VSync on, chances are it's going to go up to like 300 to 400 frames per second, in which case you probably are going to get some coil whine because at that frequency, that range, is going to be more obvious. If you're still getting coil whine at like 60 hertz, then either the card is not a great version, or potentially your power supply isn't good enough. Sometimes just swapping out the power supply for another model can improve coil whine dramatically. Yeah, right, let's go to the overhead camera and we'll start assembling this. So let's start off with the MSI drive. So this is, like I said, the Spatium M461. Oh, that is actually sealed. Let's open that up. Cool. My eyesight is getting worse.
TLC, Mike.
It's TLC, thanks Bob. I thought it was. I don't like buying QLC drives these days unless they are in like a ridiculously good price, in which case I'd have a stab at it. But yeah, there's no real point buying a QLC drive these days, especially for Windows. If you're using it for maybe, I don't know, longer term storage possibly. I wouldn't even use a QLC drive for games really. Just no real point. The prices have come down to a point where you don't really need to buy that cheap, that QLC stuff anymore.
That NVME is slow too.
That NVMe is slow in terms of, I'm not sure what speeds. This is probably like 3500 maybe. And I've got a sneaking suspicion, yeah, I don't have the, I don't have an M.2 screw, so this is where things get a little bit awkward. And I have to go through my little bag here. I've got a bag full of lots of M.2 screws for emergency purposes, and let's hope we've got one in here that fits. I'm not too sure what size it is, so there's a couple of little ones there. Let's see what they are. At this point, I probably do need my magnifying glass, which I haven't got. Those might do. Let's try. Yes, that works perfectly. Don't need to screw those down particularly tight, just so it's secure or snug, and that will do it.
Do you still have the Asus Tough Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi in your build?
B650 Plus, no.
It might not have been for you guys.
Who was asking that?
R48.
Can't even see that. Oh yeah, do you still have the Asus Tough Gaming? No, the B650 Tough, that is long gone. If you're referring to me.
Adam, what would the cost be?
What of this? What would the cost be just for just the CPU motherboard RAM? The CPU would be 225, the RAM would be 90, and the motherboard would be 120. You'll have to work that out. It's been a long day. I can't do addition.
Add it up.
Yeah, you can do. The RAM you probably won't get at that price these days.
So was it 90 plus?
Realistically, you'd have to say say 190 plus 120 plus 225.
535.
So 535, Kath says. There's too much crap in this cup.
120
120,
Dirty old cup of
122 people watching me delve through a nasty old cup. Oh, Bob just looks at the RAM, 221 quid. Holy crap.
That's 100 more than what's watching at the moment.
Yeah. If only I had £1 for every thing it was worth. So there's our M.2 drive in. That was pretty painless. So let's have a look at the cooler situation and see what the deal is with that. Hey, good old MSI in there, European regulatory notices. Come on, get in there. That'll do there. Okay. So we've got a back plate that looks like it's for Intel because it's got the blue bits on it. Intel, don't need that. AMD, AM4, AM5 and AM3. That's great. Need those for attaching that later. Got some brackets there and screws. That's LGA, don't need that. And that is Intel brackets, so don't need that either. So I'm trying to work out how this actually goes together then. Because there doesn't appear to be. How do you attach that to the top of the CPU then? I am confused.
I've got some glue up there.
Oh, I have no idea. Oh well. I would get the instructions out, but, well,
Just put them away.
yeah.
You'll get them out in a minute anyway.
So that's for the pump head. We can look at those in a bit. That's for mounting all that. Yeah, I was expecting some thumb screws. Maybe they're the ones in the Intel bag that we have to use. Actually, I don't think there is any instructions in here. No, did I haven't seen any instructions.
Rasher.
Anyone here know if there's any external XDs that have a battery inside and protect the data for charge leak? No, not that I'm aware of. I imagine there'll be an enterprise grade one. Okay, let's see how this works then. So, which way round do those go? Those should only fit in one way. Let's try it the other way. Yeah, they don't fit that way. So, pillars first. No spacers, which is a little bit strange. I thought this was going to be a lot more exciting than it is, but it's not. I'm going to guess that even though that says Intel on there and it's got the 4 thumb screws, I would assume those 4 thumb screws fit onto these threads as well. Just try that. Yes, they do. So yeah, that is marked up as Intel, but I guess that's kind of slightly incorrect. And we don't need a backplate because obviously it's all done elsewhere. So that's cool. At this point as well, I suppose, being as we're on this angle, we could get the cooler and we will put the brackets on. Now, do these go in any specific way? I guess there's going to be slots somewhere. Looks like that slot's in there, I would say. Does it go face up or does it go face down? Does it matter? Let's see. So these screws are the ones which attach it, so I'm guessing they go either way. Yeah, if it threads that way, it will thread that way. Well, it didn't want to go that way, actually. It didn't feel like it did. Yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. They don't actually come with instructions. Yeah, it does wind through. Okay. So, these can only go on one side. So So I guess it goes in there. And then you just put the screw down through. It doesn't want to grab. Oh, that one does. Oh, it does. Yeah, just need a bit more force on it. Yeah, that's not the most elegant solution, but it works. If anyone manages to go to the Gamdias site and check it out.
No instructions, that is really silly. I see a video coming for that.
Yeah, I am going to buy another one of these actually for a review. I'll do some temp testing first of all. It does fit a little bit on the plasticky side, if I'm honest. And I'm pretty sure that is the only way that those can go on. So yeah, basically you've got that, which then will go over the top of your pillars. And like that. And then you put your thumb screws over the top. So it's pretty easy to install. And this Aurora bit in the middle, you can actually twist that round. So that matches up right depending on which way you install it. It's quite thoughtful. Quite a few manufacturers don't do that. Right, let's do the RAM. As much as I don't want to, but I have to. I'm going to get my knife. He says, leaning over. Actually, I'm going to need a chewing gum or something. Let's have a chewing gum. These are great. Pomegranate mint flavour. Now, is there an easy way of opening these? Probably not.
Thanks for offering.
Do you want one?
No, I'm okay, thanks.
I didn't think you would. It's weird, isn't it? The RAM now is worth more than the CPU. Pretty much. Oh, for God's sakes.
You just nicked that mat then a little.
No.
I think you did when you blamed the cats for shagging it. When are you going to start purring? Or Ali wants to know.
Purr. Very shortly.
I bet that sound quite nice to a microphone. Dutch John's put a link in.
Cheers, Dutch.
Fitting instructions, isn't it?
Yeah, why does that not want to fit in there?
Because you aren't read the instructions yet.
That's better. Bit of firm pressure on the old crucial DDR.
Where's the letter tonight?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, where is the letter?
Talking of firm pressure.
So here is our CPU. So again, this is from AliExpress. From the Comet Crash Global site. This one cost me £226.92. That is one of the problems with buying from AliExpress. The prices fluctuate so wildly, it's just not even funny anymore. You can get the same CPU generally, if you get a good offer, for somewhere in the region of about 190. So I did pay a little bit over the odds for this, but I won't complain because I got some deals elsewhere. So
Old Bob asks, is a letter on Discord?
she has been from time to time. I like to flex these a little bit before I make it go down, just so that it feels centralized into the actual retention mechanism. So there we go. That is our board pretty much ready to go. So we've got our M.2, we've got our RAM, and we've got our CPU installed. So I think we can put this to one side for the moment, and I can have a little bit of a pack away and make some more room, and then we'll get the case up on the bench and we start putting some things together. How exciting. Well, it is for me. It may not be for you, but I'm enjoying myself. And in fact, I've got to do this anyway because it needs doing. And I'll be honest with you, it's actually 100 times easier. Shall I use their thermal paste? No. Yeah? No. Oh, whatever. We'll come back to that. Yeah, it's a lot easier to do a build in a live stream than it ever is when you're trying to do it like in the video, because there's so much extra work that goes into a video, like setting up the camera shots and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, it can be a real pain in the ass. I can't see it, I'm bent over. Oh, I lied. Instruction manual, I found it. It was actually in the box.
Did you ever click on Touch John's link?
No, I didn't know.
Because that's probably the instructions as well.
Oh, right, sorry.
I did keep saying.
Well, I kind of battled on with it. Oh yeah, Ramad is Dutch Jan, isn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Kebab Coder.
Kebab Coder, hang on. Hi, how you doing, Kebab Coder? Good to see you. Wait, only £1,000 for the... Yeah, I know. It's an incredible deal. Someone is going to be very, very happy with this PC. I haven't told the other person that I'm making it yet, so if anybody wants to make me an offer, you're more than welcome. Let's have a look. So yeah, that is right.
I've never bought something from AliExpress. What do you usually look for when finding a trusted buyer?
Just look for someone. Yeah, just look for someone who's got a lot of feedback or have sold a lot of items. That is generally it. There is also feedback like there is on eBay, so you can kind of look at it that way as well. Sorry, I'm just looking for the... Christ almighty, where's AMD? Right at the back? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, those come off. They've already come off anyway. Thermal paste, I haven't done that yet. No CPU, got those in yet, that's correct. That bit there, so yeah, those go in the ledge as we looked at earlier. Screws go down through, yeah, that is right. And the mounting pressure, yeah, so that is basically exactly as we thought. That looks fine. PDO RGB, yeah, that all looks fine. Yeah, good.
That is incredible though. Are you using second-hand parts or are these parts secured through Black Friday deal?
Some of it is used parts, some of it is just getting some good deals. The graphics card is a used deal. That was £330. What are you doing?
Discord bot.
Oh,
Is that where you got it?
Yeah, I think I did actually. Yeah, so you can check out those. We've got a Discord bot which picks up deals on eBay and also from other places as well. So you are more than welcome to join our Discord and check out some of the deals. They mostly tend to be orientated towards the UK, although some of our lovely members have been posting deals elsewhere. Ireland, America, Australia, etc, etc. So you're more than welcome to join. But majority of this is all brands spanking new. Right, so I'm not too keen on these mounting pillars on here because there's a tendency for these. So when you got the screw, because these screw the same way as the screw on the top, so when they're tightened up, they don't really lock into place. You can like do it quite easily by hand. So sometimes what you get with these is when you undo the thumb screw, the whole thing twists, which can be a little bit of a nose. Not really much you can do about it, but just, I don't know, something I was hoping to point out. So I'm going to get rid of the, actually I'll leave that on there so you've got something to look at. And I'm going to get the rest of the parts out of the box, because now we're going to be onto the case and also the power supply. The power supply, I'm still umming and ahhing on the power supply a little bit because I don't know whether I'm going to put in something a bit higher end, or I have got a Corsair RM750X. Like for this particular build, 650 watts should be more than adequate. So you don't really need a massive power supply. Like a kilowatt would be fine, but you don't need it. We should be seeing, in terms of usage, I would say probably about 120 watts from the processor maxed out and about 200 for the GPU. So that gives you about 300 to 330. Double that gives you kind of like 700. So a 650, 700, 750 watt power supply would be at 50% under load, roughly. Which is, most power supplies, the sweet spot is at 50%. I'm getting too old for this. There's a devaluation. Sorry about the overhead.
Do you want another drink?
I think I do. I don't think I've finished the other drink yet, but I will try to. Christ, I could never be a serial killer. Struggle getting the plastic off that. Right. That was obviously a joke. I didn't mean that. Right, so here's the power supply. Here's the case. Nice case. This is the FSP M580. There's a little screw at the front, so you undo the screw, and then the glass comes off in one piece. Just pull forward and lift out the way. And it is a curved glass, which is quite nice. And yeah, now we can have a look at the case. So yeah, I like this case. I was actually really looking forward to building in it, and I didn't really know what to put in it. So when the person who's after the PC actually said, I'm after something a little bit on the compact side, it's like, okay. This might be just the ticket for that, because it is relatively compact. But I do have my reservations about this case also. This connection here is the connector for the fan at the back, and it's got some pretty chunky cabling on it. So I'm a little bit concerned that it's actually going to be obstructing actually putting the motherboard in the case. So that is what we're going to find out next. So I'm going to lean this back down, and we'll stick the overhead shot back on so you can see what I'm doing. Just a dumb fish tank. Well, thank you. You say the kindest things. So let's put this into place.
How's the flex on the top front with glass removed?
There's a little bit of flex there. Not a massive amount. I've seen worse, but I've also seen better. And what is stopping that? Is that fan? Yeah, there we go. Got it under. So the fans on this are the 30mm fans, so they're a little bit bigger than usual. And I thought one of those pillars was a locating pillar. Maybe I was incorrect.
What happens when someone sits on it?
If someone sits on it, if the glass is there, it'll be fine, because the glass will be strong enough. Now these are CPU, GPU, hard drive, screw. So those ones there must be the case ones.
Looks okay. Are those reverse blades?
Yes, they are. They are reverse blade screws. Let's get one in to start with. And we'll just put a couple in, just loosely, just so we can get the board centralized. God, that screws in very easily. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. Shame that one's in a bit of a weird place. So yeah, I think the cable for that fan is going to kind of have to go up the side, which I wasn't really keen on. I was at some point actually thinking about taking these fans out altogether and using some other ones, but the fact that it comes with them kind of makes sense to use them, I think. And being that all the other fans I seem to have at the moment are, yeah, head close up. All the other ones we've got at the moment are the white fans. Rasher and oh Bob talking about CatchyOS. I was looking at some interesting stuff today. Well, I say interesting, I thought it was interesting. About market share of operating systems. And even though at the moment, with the Steam Deck and all that stuff going on, it's weird to think that Linux has less presence on the desktop and phone market than even Windows 7. I was quite surprised at that. So yeah, Windows 7 at the moment still has more people using it than Linux. It's just kind of weird. I don't think I know anybody who uses Windows 7 on a daily basis. Do you use Windows 7 on a daily basis? Let us know.
Windows 7, that horrible blocky stuff.
No, that was Windows 8. 7 was quite nice. 7 was probably the best of the operating systems, to be honest.
I used it ever. I think I went from XP to that blocky stuff.
Lead Farmer says those numbers are slightly off. They might be. It was just a forum or thread that I was reading, and it was going through operating system usage from 1980 through to 2025. And it was like one of those animated ones where the bars go up and down as different operating systems come and go. And Linux was on something like 2 or 3%, I think, in the end. And I was surprised. I thought it'd be more.
Miro says I use Win 7 for older GTA games that break on Windows 11.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And John David Sullivan said I saw that one the other day.
All right, yeah. It seems to be, it come up on my YouTube kind of suggested things. So, oh, this is cool. I did watch it early in the morning, so my figures may be slightly off, but... Right, those are all done up nicely now. So let's see what we can do with this wire. Actually, the lighting in this room is bloody awful. And that isn't the most magnetic. So basically the fan connection goes in the bottom in here. And I've got those two awful wires to try and navigate something with. And I don't want to bend the pins. Might be okay.
I think you wear that head torch.
This is flat, I keep on forgetting to charge it. Oh, come on! I really shouldn't be allowed out on my own.
Charles Ballard, you know, I think this stream may have more viewers than I've ever seen.
We've had some pretty decent streams in the past where we've had like 200 or so. Every now and then you get one which kind of just seems to get pushed out a little bit more by YouTube. Yeah, there we go. So that wire has gone in and actually did tuck under. So, I don't know if you can see that very well from that angle. So the wire is just about tucked under there. So that's actually made it ultra clean. I'm actually pretty stoked with that. That's done well. Yay! We did a thing. And I was surprised. I thought that was going to interfere with it. I do need to take that sticker off in the middle somehow and reposition it because it is driving me slightly insane because it's been put on like, a bit wonky. It does look like it comes off pretty easy. So yeah, there's very little adhesive on there, so I'm going to have to play with that and see. Actually, I wonder if I can do it now. I can't really.
We may not be many, but we are awesome.
You
can say that.
Yeah. There, I think that is pretty much bang on. I don't want to put too much pressure on there because I don't want to damage it, but...
A lot of viewers wondering how to make a £1,000 PC.
Nice. Yeah, how to make a £1,000 PC, and that is basically just be...
Buying the parts before the RAM went up.
Buy the parts before the price increases, or just buying smarter, more carefully. Like, you don't need to rush into these things, so just, yeah, take your time, be a little bit smarter about your choices, and that way you're almost guaranteed you're going to save some money. Yeah, potentially you might lose out here and there, but in general, you should save money.
Don't forget, remove rear metal plates, GPU slot.
Yes, I will definitely have to do that. And how many do I need to remove? I think I'll take those out now, actually, now that someone's just said about it. So we'll take out the 2 blanking plates. So if we look where a GPU is, so we want the 2nd and 3rd. This is going to be an awesome PC. I didn't think it was going to be, but I think it's starting to come together very nicely. And there's loads of room at the top for cable management and stuff, so this is going to be great. I honestly don't know whether I would spend £90 on this case myself. That is one of my considerations that I would have to kind of say. I don't know whether I could justify it for the fans. The fans are excellent. They do move an absolute ton of air. But again, I don't know whether or not it's justifiable.
Looks like a thick boy.
It's nice and thick, yeah. I'm just hoping that the chap who was interested in the PC, or asked about the PC, I just hope that they said a compact PC, or a smaller PC. And I don't really want to go much smaller than this, because otherwise it's just going to cost a fortune. But I'm also considering like a mini ITX, because I've got a mini ITX board up there. I just need a mini ITX case of some sort, which I could probably source relatively easily.
Does it have a place for the cat?
We'll see. Does what?
Does it have a place for the cat?
You probably could get your cat in here quite easily, I think, yeah. Right, we're going to get the I/O out of the way. This bit here is for inserting mechanical drives if you ever wanted to. Realistically, I don't think anybody will, because it's just...
Mike's wallet creaks when he opens it. When was the last time you got money out of your wallet?
Last time I got money out of my wallet was probably well over a week ago.
Because you usually take it out of my purse.
Yeah, I normally take it out of Cap's purse. It's closer.
Yeah, it's okay. He earns the money. We are married.
We are married, it's fine.
I haven't seen your wallet for years, to be fair.
I can't... I'm trying to think where my wallet actually is. I think it's in my bag. And being that I don't leave the house hardly ever, and I only take my bag with me 1 day a week. So, yeah, if you're planning on mugging me, don't bother, because there ain't lots to have.
You've got some lucky Chinese coins in there, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, got some lucky Chinese coins. They're cool.
Have you got photos of your kids?
Yeah.
I used to give you them to put in.
Well, I'm going to move over these RGB things. So it's not in the way of the power supply. So what are people's thoughts with a power supply? Do you think an RM750 is going to be sufficient? It should be, and I think it was... no, it's a Corsair.
They said as long as it's not a Gigabyte, somebody earlier.
Oh, that was another bargain I got on CCL's bargains. There was a UD850 PCI Express Gen 5 power supply, gold one, £89 normal price, and I won it for $19.99. But some people will say, well, you have to pay me that to take it.
You forgot what you were doing right now then, didn't you? I wasn't ordering you to drink, I was reminding you what you were doing.
Can you give it a bit of a swill? It looks disgusting. Thank you. Don't want to look disgusting on camera, do we? RM750X would be ideal. Hey Jamie, how you doing? 750 is likely okay, if no hard drive, only SSD, says Lead Farmer. Okay, so let's see how it offers up. I have got it here ready. This one, I'm trying to think who I actually bought this off. It looks brand new. I think this is one of the ones that Dave had, and his work bought it for a server or something, and it never got used, or it basically got switched on and then turned off again. So I think that is it. So yeah, basically this is a brand spanking new RM750X. I think this is going to be absolutely fine. And in fact, it's probably one of the better power supplies that I've ever used. So take that as it will. We've got our bag of cables. So this, oh, nice rip noise. Ah, that's where my power supply tester brick went. I wonder where that went. My only concern is with this, we've got that bloody section there, haven't you? Which can look a little bit on the ugly side. So I'm going to put that on the board and see how bad it actually looks. I think it's going to be all right. But I'm not keen on those bits. Pass that through. That is one of the beauties of a modular power supply. You can just try things out without having to install the whole darn thing. And pull that cable through. Oh, that's got a bit of a kink in it now. Why has that got a kink in it? That's boy. Yeah, I don't... Oh, balls. I dropped a screw. That is one of the things I don't like about Corsair power supplies. Their cables tend to be quite on the thick side, which is... can be a little bit annoying. Yeah, these look bloody awful. Let's take that through the next bit. At least there's plenty of pass-throughs on this chassis. Yeah, I think that's going to look okay-ish. There's not really a lot you can do with it, is there? Let's turn it around so you can see what's going on. So we kind of got that. It's a little bit too fat to go in through the side there. So we'll take it upwards. Kind of, actually, that might be all right. Is that better? Or is it better how I had it before? Let me know which you think. The only thing as well, we've got our PC, I've got our USB 3.0 there, which also might be trapped in there a little bit.
I know you don't want to go out flame. Empty out. That pips.
No, no one said anything. As it is now. All right. I think that's going to be okay. I'm just a little bit cautious about that. Unless I take that down through. I might go behind. Actually, with a little bit of moving around, that might be okay. Is that a bit better? I think that works a bit nicer, doesn't it? Right, I'm going to try some of the other cables and connectivity options so we can get an idea of where those are going to lie. So front panel connector, that is going to go straight down through, as is the audio, so those down through there, down through there. That's great stuff. I think I'm actually getting worse at building PCs, if that's a thing. It probably is. It's not like I haven't got enough practice. Right, HD audio. Where's the pin? There. And where's the pin on there? There. Okay. I think that's okay. That's not really showing a great deal of stuff on the back, so that's fine. Actually, I probably want to take that underneath that cable. Oh, why am I such a sucker for cable management? Most people just chuck it in, don't they, and be done with it. But I can't do it. I've tried. I do like to have a nice clear path to my cables. And I try to use the case as much as I can as like camouflage for the bits which I'm trying to hide. And where's the... God, I just did that just now. There. There, that's good. Right. It doesn't make a great deal of difference, but just having the cable routed a little bit of a different direction just makes it so much easier. So let's do the what's it called next? You know the what's it called? the what's on a flip. So USB Type C. I might actually take that underneath actually. USB Type C is one of those connectors, especially, it's weird that the actual USB Type C, like the end part which we plug into, is designed to be universal, so it works either way. Why did they not do the same for the motherboard end? It's so bizarre. But it only fits in one way. And it ain't that way. I don't want to go in either way. There should be a little pin. Which shows you pin number 1. Can't see it on there. And I can't see it on there either. Right, don't want to go in that way. Out my head. Oh, why are you being so obnoxious? Come on. There we go. Making hard work of that. Yeah, that isn't the nicest way of routing it. There's a bar directly behind it, so I could have either gone under or above. So I think because those are going down, I think the general downward trend is going to be okay. Right, what's next? See, I'm still smiling. It hasn't beaten me yet. It's coming close. This is the tricky one, the USB Type A's. And I hate these because they've got a tendency to bend if you don't get them in straight. Yeah, that felt good. So I was going to bend that round. So yeah, all the cables are on a slightly downward trajectory, which I think is going to be fine. So I think that's it, other than the front panel connector. So let's find that one in the mix here. And that goes straight down and under. So that just pops down through the bottom. Nice and open actually, the bottom section of the case. And let's turn that around the other way. No, that was right the other way.
Was it, Dave?
No, I have put that on the wrong way. Gigabyte motherboards have always done that to me.
You're going to have to keep an eye on the chat because I've got a few things.
I can't see the chat at the moment, but I'll try. Let's see. Yeah. Oh no, we're one slot over. Come on, give me a break. I'm going to give in and get some more light on the subject. Right, blocked off pin that side, blocked off pin that side. Why do you not want to fit on there? I've got a bent pin somewhere. It feels like I've got a bent pin here somewhere. would help if I was putting it in the right place, wouldn't it? This is giving us too many options here. There. Done. And I'll pull some of that back out through. It's a little bit twisted, but whatever, that's fine. So, HD audio, check. Power button, reset button, etc. done. USB Type-C, USB Type-A. That is in nicely. Got our main power, which, yep, that's in nicely. So, EPS is the next on the agenda, which should be in this little baggie here somewhere. So that's a SATA. I do need a SATA, so we'll keep that out. And we do need the graphics card connection, which I believe is just one on this particular card. What have we got here? PCIe, that'll do. And there is a EPS. I think we've only got one port to plug in there. Yeah, only one. Although this does come with two, I think. We got two. Well, I thought it had. Yes, CPU. There's another one there. So we don't need that. We'll put those back in. Don't need that one. We do need that one. We will need SATA. What's the smallest SATA we've got? That one. Oh, actually, that one's unbundled already. I'll use that one. So don't need that. Don't need that. Those can stay out the way. And again, they've done the stupid thing again. So they've got the CPU connection. They've got that bloody great mound on there of resistors, which just makes things so much harder to do. Luckily, in this particular instance, there's quite a bit of room there, but that is super annoying. And in some cases, if you haven't got the height there, it could actually prevent you from installing an AIO, which would be a bit disastrous. I wouldn't want to try it in a 4000D, which ironically is the case that this was kind of out at the same time as. So that is in, and yeah, there's enough room for that. So that can go towards the top. I don't think that is going to obscure our AIO. It's not going to make it easier though, that's for sure. Actually, I can bend it right round. Yeah, that's fine. So I bent that right round and kind of out the back. So yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good. Let's have a look at the chat quickly. Put your glasses on, Mike. They wouldn't help. I hear the fans in my room more than the PC. USB 3, not Type A. Yeah. Thanks, old Bob. Appreciate that. Why would they have resistors on the cable? As far as I know, the resistors on the cable are just to kind of level out the voltages or the amperages or something. I guess it would give you a less ripple, maybe. But there should be ripple suppressants in the power supply itself. So yeah, I don't know the real reason myself either. I'd be just guessing, to be honest with you, but it just seems like a bit of a daft place to put it. It's like, if you're going to put it, don't put it in the cables, put it in the power supply. If you ain't got enough room in the power supply, then make a better power supply. So that one there, and PCIe and SATA. We need the SATA. That's very important. We will include that one. And then also we've got the graphics card power, which again, it's got bloody shielding and sheathing and crap all over it. Why would you want to do that? It's such a pain. Right, now I've got to jiggle all the cables kind of out the way. So I'm going to slot this in here. And hopefully it's going to fit. I don't think it will actually. So I'm going to have to unplug those and those. And that can probably go, is that going to be able to go behind the power supply? I don't really want to put it behind the power supply, but I don't think it'll go around it particularly. Let's see. Might be okay. We'll try it. We'll try it. We're finding out things as we go. Tea is getting cold. What, mine or yours? I think Kath's made my my drink. Did you put 2 scoops in or 1?
Sorry?
Did you do 2 scoops or 1?
2.
Well done. Do you? Bless your heart. Right, power supply is in. Now, is there enough room behind here to get those wires down behind, or can I just run them? Yeah, the fan wires is a bit unfortunate, but they've made them like kind of short. So I'm gonna have to put that behind there and hope and pray there's enough room to get that down. Oh. Actually, it just about reaches round the side, so it's having a bit of a reach around. We'll go with that. I'm going to unplug that one, put that one closer to the front. That'll give me a little bit of extra room. Oh, come on, you fiddly little bastard. The sooner they make RGB cables, which are all one particular size and locked together, the better. I think RGB cables are one of the things which are something which make people not want to install RGB. Come on, there you go. That one's on. I'll put that one on as well. Good stuff. Oh, and I've got to take that one right there as well. Otis, you crazy little swine. What we got there? So this on the bottom, I know you can't see it particularly well, but there is a little fan hub going on down here, which you might be able to see. Hopefully, I'll lean it over. So there's a 8-port fan and RGB hub. So actually makes wiring a little bit easier, especially if you are into your RGB-ness. Oh, left that on. That's what I always do. This has got multiple presses, and I always leave it with the last one on. So what have we got here? So we've got the graphics card one. We've got the SATA. Just really to organise these cables a little bit better than they are. But with the sheathing on them, it doesn't make it very easy. But I can band some of those together. Make a little block up of those, that'll be fine. So let's grab some cable ties. Thought I'd cut myself there. I think I'm running out of black cable ties actually. To buy some tomorrow. Let's get that in there. I just bunch those in like that. I'll probably do the same at the bottom. I need to take the graphics card power through underneath. But I think, again, because it's got that braided nonsense on there, it's just going to be a pain in the ass. I hate this power supply so much. I shouldn't really care. But for some reason, just Corsair power supplies really do piss me off. Just so, like, elaborate for what they actually are. And it's not like they don't get failure rates, because they still do. Put a cable tie on that as well. I'm going to have to use some clear cable ties as well, which I don't really want to do, but there you go. I just want to see this thing powered up now. I'm sort of losing the will to live. Come on, modular power supplies, you're supposed to make life easier for me. There used to be a rule in health and safety at the BBC that you weren't allowed to cut off the ends of cable ties because they get sharp on the ends. So you actually just had to leave them in place or tape them down. Health and safety in the workplace. Right, these are all in good position now, so I can cable tie those. Though really, to be honest with you shouldn't ever cable tie stuff until you're done. Like you're done. I suppose I could take those up higher. No, I'll take them down. Let's go down. And I'll do them in two separate groups. So we've got the IO section, cable tied down here, and then the main power section there. So if you ever want to swap out the power supply or change the IO configuration, you don't have to do both sets of cables. I think there is, yeah, there's another little one at the bottom there. I think I'll just bunch those up together. That'll be fine. Also, doing this as well, cable tying, it actually does make it a little bit easier at some points, especially when you're doing your GPU for the cabling, because if you've got all your other wires kind of out the way, it makes it easier to feed the other ones through. It's going to be overly tight, but it's going to be, it's kind of neat already. Also, I do need to connect up, just realised now, I've got to connect up the fans and the ARGB, which is going to be towards the top. So let's pop that through. This PC's getting a bit heavier now. So our connections are at the top. I do like the fact that this is a pass-through like rear connect board. So you've got extra little holes so you can get the cables just a little bit more snug towards the motherboard. So they're not like outrightly obviously visible. So fan header number 1 is going to be that one there at the top. And I think I've actually, has this one got an AIO port? Yeah, CPU and CPU, CPU optional, CPU fan. Is there a water pump header then? No. So I'll have to use CPU optional for the water pump, and I'll use the main CPU for the fans on the radiator. And for the RGB, that is a connection just up the top, which I can almost see. And there we go. Nice and neat, looking good so far. Well, apart from that one's come out. My USB Type-C. Why did that come out? Oh, maybe I didn't have it in quite far enough. Come on. What is going on here? If you ever want to watch someone struggle with a build, now is that time. There we go. Don't think I had it quite all the way in when I started. Okay, that'll be fine. He says. Okay, how are we doing? So look in the chat. Hey Fred. Sorry, free speech, and hello Fred as well. See Sonic and be quiet. Nice. Cheapest I go is thermal take. Says Lead Farmer. I have several MSI monitors. All are excellent. My fave monitors are LG, says Viali. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to monitors, I really do struggle to see the difference between like a premium brand and a budget brand. I guess that's because I've never gone into like OLED or like super high refresh or super expensive ones. Most of the monitors I get generally tend to be sort of like up to probably about £300 at the most. So I don't really see the kind of like the real cream of the crop, which clearly do exist. But also as well, I guess you got the point that a lot of manufacturers just borrow someone else's panel anyway. So you kind of, even if you buy a slightly cheaper panel, chances are it's come from like a premium manufacturer anyway. It's just been one which has been either rejected for some reason or overstocked or just surplus to requirements. Talking of surplus to requirements, now we're going to put in the graphics card. So this is the MSI RTX 4070. This is the Ventus X2 OC edition. Nice card, nice and lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of room, and pretty easy to power as well. So it only needs a single PCI Express. And just move that into the open position, and we'll pop that in. And there we go. So I want to do that just so I can get an idea of roughly where the connector is going to lie, so I can run it through underneath and not make it look like an absolute nightmare with all the cables hanging out here, there and everywhere. I'll put the screws in the back, and because this is actually quite a compact GPU, not going to have to be too concerned with things like GPU sag. Why does that look like it's on a completely different... Oh, it is on a completely different plane. I wondered what I was screwing into there. I didn't think that was even a possible thing to do, but it was. There's the screw hole there. I just created a new screw hole for the graphics card. How exciting. Okay, stick that in there. And we're finally getting somewhere. Almost time to install the AIO. I was hoping I could do that just by feel, but I can't. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. So ideally, the power is there, so we want to bring it around about there. I bet I cannot get that cable through there. So it may have to come through the side, which I'm not particularly keen on doing. And also, again, it's got those stupid bastard connections on it. Exactly. Yes, I agree, Otis. All together. All together now, you bastards.
Was that PSU new?
Who did?
Dave Bacon.
I don't know, I got it off him.
That's why you're asking.
Right.
It's quite a while ago.
All right. Yeah, the power supply, I thought I got off you. Maybe I didn't. I could have swore I got off Dave.
Dan Marr asked, have you ever had this happen? I thought the Be Quiet PSU and the PCI cables did not reach the sockets.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that happen on power supplies where the cables have just not been long enough and not reached the graphics card. I've had that on a couple of occasions actually. And it is most frustrating. So with this cable, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to route it anywhere else than underneath, which actually sucks. Right to the side, rather.
Old Bob's just realised you look like the glasses on Kojak.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's more Alan Carr.
Thanks for that also.
Not Alan Carr, what's the other one?
Alan Partridge?
No, the, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't think.
I know you mean, but I'm not gonna write it. Yeah, let's not go there. Right, let's see if I can. Oh, this is just all kinds of ugly. I'm actually even considering putting on just cable extensions for this, because that just looks bloody awful. Although saying that, I probably can make it work and cable tied them to the bottom of the case. Oh, that just sucks. I can't really take it round the side. Well,
Captain might just have a nice mint tea delivered to them.
actually, what do you reckon, to the side? That might work.
Any other Brits here leave the tea bag in the cup? That's not tea.
Yeah.
That's not coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, leave it in the cup. I used to do that.
After scrapping, I think I'm the Brit who hates tea. I don't like tea. Not black tea.
Oh, this is just nuts. This was a regrettable choice using this power supply. Did Dave answer back yet? I could have swore.
I'm still catching up, so.
Oh, right. How much for the RAM? 89.99. But I got a good deal. Well, I say I got a good deal. It was a pre-order which I found on the Discord, and yeah, just went with it.
David Underhill says, Mike, is what you think is resistor is not the heatsink that covers the wire splices.
Is it?
I don't know when that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're resistors. So I did read a couple of reviews about him saying about the resistor packs being a bit of a nose and getting in the way. Right. I think
Mike,
that...
Farah says, Mike, I'm going to send you a silencer gun Velcro add-on for your Luigi figurine. I made him. I made them both.
Yep, that's Kath's work of art there.
Be
right, I think that's going to be okay. I'm not keen on this, but it's kind of, it is what it is. That. Right, let's get the AIO installed, shall we? And we'll go to the overhead shot. Oh, what's that I just pressed there? I just pressed a button there and something happened. Things started happening. So there's the AIO. So I think I'm going to go tubes that way. And then twist that round. Well, actually, is that going to work? Yeah, actually that could. Let me line it up. So I might want to turn the fans around in that instance. That fits.
Dutch Jam said, Mike, pump header at the USB 3 plug.
Yes, I see. I can see there's a header there. Doesn't say pump on it though, from what I can see, but I'll have another look. Right, that looks shit. So let's try that around the other way. And ooh, is that going to be okay? Is that going to impede on the fan?
What are you building, Mike?
I have no idea.
That's when you first came in the chat. It's not like sarcasm.
Alright. I'm making a mess. Actually, that might work. That won't. No, I can't go that way. Flipping hell. Why do they make it like so hard? Or to make the cables look so shit? Right, I've got to take the fans off again because I need that wire to go through this side. Which actually is quite good that they are on this block connector style setup. Makes life a bit easier. It's getting quite warm in here now. Or is it just me?
Lay it flat and put a monitor on top of PC. 1987. 1997 even.
What is this cheap motherboard with only 3 fan headers? It's got a few fan headers on it, but they're dotted around. I think it's got 5. But the Gigabyte Elite Eagle AX is the kind of entry-level board for the range.
Fred says big thanks for the cool greeting card.
You're very welcome.
That's got to you.
Yeah, I'm glad it got there. We sent that on Tuesday, was
No,
it?
I think we sent that Monday, I think.
Wow.
Wednesday was the other ones. I think you did that down there, didn't you?
Ah,
Just the card.
these are daisy chained in a different way. These are permanently daisy chained. And that is not going to look... Oh, sod it. I should have gone with air cooling. Jamie is not a fan of Gigabyte boards. Gigabyte, I think, in general, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think in general, most people don't like Gigabyte. At least, I would say not our kind of core audience. Like some Gigabyte stuff gets really good views, but generally, I think it's from, well, outside of Europe, let's say, that Gigabyte get like really good views and stuff. But in the Americas and the UK especially, Gigabyte seems to be, well, not particularly popular, let's say.
Says thanks for the gifts and the card.
You're very welcome. Gifts and cards have been posted out from us. I don't think there's many other channels which do that for their viewers. Like I said, we do like to try give back a little bit. Yeah, Dave's is here to pick up.
Along with Colin's box again, so to speak. That doesn't sound right.
No. MSI and Asus is the leaders, I think.
Fred received it on Thursday. That's very quick, wasn't it?
It was actually. Right, I think that is all of those done up. I'm just going to put it in there, and if I'm not happy with it, that is just the way that it's going to have to be. So we go through our parts bag again, and I think that is the
David Underhill asked,
screw kit.
have you had his calendar yet?
Ah, yes, we have.
Thank you for that last week.
Yeah, thank you for the calendar.
Thank you last week.
Oh, where is it? I'll put it down here.
Careful.
Yeah, just thinking, yeah, there's too many addresses on there. So I'll look just to make sure. I don't think there was anything in there that was, yeah. There we go. So there is Merry Christmas to all the Churchill family and cats from Dave and Slim, or David and Slim. So this is Clifton and the surrounding areas, which is funny because Clifton in Australia is, there's also a Clifton in the UK, which is very near us. So it's got...
Goat picture he took.
Huh?
The goat photo was the one I took.
Oh, is it? Let's have a look. There's some cool buildings.
Can you see the top piece? Yeah. Mine is taking a while to catch up.
Ah, there's the goat.
And we'll see.
It's on the screen.
I thought I might want to catch up. Oh.
A goat bird.
I love goat's eyes. They're so
It's a
freaky.
hybrid goat bird.
Look at their eyes. They're so freaky.
Oh, that's cool. Goodyear. Oh, got the old rusty ramp site. That's awesome. There's nothing identified on the back. There we go.
Fly.
Can it fly? What, the goat bird? Yeah, goat birds are well known for flying. Okie dokie. Right, where was I? So let's put this in place roughly. And I might want to get those cables through actually. So before I do that, I'm going to rest that on the top. Undo our cables. And I'm going to feed those through the hole at the back. And then I can kind of feed that through as I'm going. put it in that top corner.
So many cities, places in Canada, Australia and New Zealand have the same name as the UK. Nostalgia thing.
Yeah, it must be.
You got one of my hairs on your shoulder.
Have I?
I think so.
Right, let's get that sort of lined up. We'll get one screw in. That'll be a start. Right, there's one. It's an Empire thing. Yeah, it could be.
Kenny's in.
Hey, Kenny.
Been a long time since he's been in one of our streams.
Yeah, how you doing? Long time no see. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. Right, I just want to get 4 of those in, just to hold it in place. Is there hair on her shoulder?
Kenny's doing alright.
Good, glad to hear it.
Skystalker's lived in Abbotsford. No, he lives in Abbotsford. Have lived in Victoria and Surrey. You will find all those places in the UK,
Oh yeah.
Australia and New Zealand.
Yep. Empire building.
And somebody said, who was it? Charles Ballard, New Amsterdam got renamed to New York after York in England.
Ah. Well, so New York was actually originally New Amsterdam.
Sounds like it.
I would have never known that.
Well, I didn't really ever think of New York as like York in the UK either.
No, I actually didn't ever think of it like that. No. Right, there's the AIO in place. Oh, that wire didn't go all the way through, damn it. Oh, come on, you swine. There we go.
NED,
That's
not
better.
to go into too much detail, but the job market has been hitting me hard for the last too long.
Yeah, the job market isn't great. Soon there'll be some AI bot doing what I'm doing. They can't do a much worse job, to be fair.
But would it know the swear words?
Yeah, wouldn't know the swear words, that's for sure. So put a little bit of thermal paste on there. And that was way too much, but whatever.
Ratcher, but maybe not read it out loud, it's up to you.
Okay, hang on.
We're AI, would anyone not say on our Wolfie says?
Well, the thing is, if it gets to a point where AI is basically taken over, then there won't be anything else to watch anyway, so you'll either have to find entertainment elsewhere.
In your smart city.
Yeah, in your smart city, on your 15-minute allotted break. Oh, that is a nose. I really wanted that to go there.
AI generated live stream with the cats doing the assembling.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Right, those cables are going to look trash like that, aren't they? Or the pipes, rather. But that's kind of where it needs to, or it feels like it has to go. It's just like a really unnatural kink. Or does that look okay from above?
Fred thinks a small part of there still call it New Amsterdam.
Really, I really want that to go across there.
Selena says pure aspartame free is inositol gum spotted. Not gonna lie, it does help with digestion for me, but decided to stop chewing it because the gum base is a synthetic rubber petrol product, pretty sure.
Yeah, it probably is. I don't chew gum often, to be honest with you.
I think you drip more often than anyone I've ever known.
Right, I'm gonna just put it in like that. That looks awful, but whatever. What can you do? Everyone what? Yeah.
Can you rotate the heatsink pipe, leaving the block on the right and have it curved to the left?
Can I rotate what? Can I rotate the heatsink pipe, leaving the block on the right and have it curved to the left?
Don't know if you could with that other fan.
Can you rotate the heatsink pipe, leaving the block on the right? So that is leaving it on the right now. And have it curved to the left. What, curved that way? No, because it was a bit too big. It wouldn't fit because the tube's there going in, so there wasn't quite enough room to make it go across there, because I guess the fan was in the way. If I took the fan out, I could run it around that way. That's what I initially wanted to do, to have it coming out that side and like curve round and up.
I don't know if they're asking you if you want it that way. Can you do it? I think it's more.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You as in anyone. Maybe.
Captain White, take the fan out. I am kind of tempted, actually, because that fan is almost a little bit pointless, because you can't really see much going on there. That is tempting.
Shirley King, who did the calendar, is descendant of one of the first English settlers. He was from Clifton, England.
Ah, really?
Looks right. Leave it like that.
Yeah,
To get to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it like this.
You don't say that. I make it like that. Use a smaller rear fan.
I think you'd have to remove the fan entirely to get the tubes to come down. I think it'd be alright. I can probably train the pipes a little bit to kind of move. That's actually not too bad like that. They will start sagging a little bit as time goes.
Did you take the plastic off the faceplate?
Not yet. I'm going to do it now. Actually, got to rotate it first.
I think they lean on the bottom, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did. This is weird. There's actually a button on here which you can press to change the RGB.
Would a 280 fit?
280 would... yeah. Yeah, it would. It wouldn't be very easy with this power supply because of the extra resistors, or whatever they are, in the top. So, yeah, I don't understand that. So, power switch.
What noise outside, so?
It's weird that you've got your RGB and pass-through, by the look of it. But you've also got a power switch to change colours, which doesn't really need connecting because, well, just there's no point of it. How strange. Right, so let's run that up. So we are... Oh. Is that pump fan a dedicated pump fan header? No, Sysfan 3, that says. There isn't actually a dedicated pump header, is there? That I can see. So I think it's just going to have to go into CPU optional. Poke that up and over. And we'll take the RGB up as well. top.
There's no dedicated pump header.
Just stick it onto either CPU optional or put it onto a system fan header and just set the header appropriately. They all work in pretty much the same way. It used to be years ago that the system fan header, or sorry, the chassis, so the water pump header would be a more powerful output, because back then the DC pumps that just needed a bit more grunt than a system fan. But these days, pretty much all the headers are kind of almost the same. Sometimes you get a newer version now where they actually have like a 3 amp header for the water pump, which is necessary for some of the latest and greatest kind of open loop type setups. But mostly I think it used to be 2 amps was like a heavy duty one, and the rest are normally like 1 amp or one and a bit. I think a traditional fan header normally is like 1 amp or thereabouts. Okay. Not very pretty, but it's a work in progress, so let's see what we can do. Ah, I've left the bloody light on again. Let's flip this up and we'll go to the main camera. Get a bit of weight to it now. And the PC. Yeah, that's true. So there is our RGB. So I'm going to split that cable. And I'll take the RGB right down to the bottom. Pass it down through. And put it onto our breakout box. Break it out. And there's an RGB header there. So let's plug that into there. And this is our fans from the radiator. So that needs to go back in through here at the top. And take that in. Oh, there's a lot of wires here. There's a lot of wiring, but I think I can get around it. That was a classic me from years ago. I used to install car alarms.
I don't think there's anything to do with that. I think it was fitting lights in the washing room. Well, that actually came out.
That is to do with Lee's car.
I thought it was to do with some like in-ceiling lights at the kitchen.
I don't know. Might have been.
Back then.
Right.
But I think we then adapted it when you did fit car lights.
No, because I'd have been fitting car alarms before we had a house.
I don't think so, but maybe.
Might have been, yeah. Right, what else have I got here? So we've got another, oh, that's the RGB wire again, so I need to, typical. That one's a little bit on the short side. So, yeah, that makes life interesting. So, the RGB cable is quite short. So I think what I'm going to have to do is take the one from the top of the motherboard, which goes to the hub, and then plug that in and use that instead. If I can get to it. Oh, RGB is a nightmare, isn't it? So I'm gonna, yeah, I'll take a tap off of that.
Get around it.
I can get around it. And then we'll take this one and put that back in through and put that into the top of the board. It's strange actually, this Gamdias water pump AIO thing. There's so many cool features about it which I really like, but then there's some weird stuff they do as well. Although some of the weird stuff might be attributed to the way I'm actually going about doing that in this case with this setup. No, I don't think so. Well, never rule it out. the light on again. Okay, right. I think that is done. So I'm not going to look into the wires too much at the moment, because I can tidy all that up. That is a job for another day. Surprisingly, there's actually quite a lot of room in the back here, which I didn't think there was going to be. Yeah, I'm not keen on that on there. I wonder if those, no, those don't rotate, do they? Yeah, that is actually annoying. To be fair, it's not the only time this has happened. It depends on the case you're using, the location they are installed and all that kind of stuff. It does happen. It would be nice if they started using swivel fittings on AIOs. I know it would add to the expense, but a swivel fitting would take all the kinks out and it would look much nicer. Although sometimes you want the actual rigidity in the tube to maintain the position to achieve a look, so you can't really win. Right, that is everything buttoned up, so I think we're good to turn it on. What's that? Someone saying about the RAM prices? Oh, Mikey P. Yeah, Mike, the RAM prices are going to put my PC building hobby on hold for the foreseeable. To be honest with you, I think we are all in the same position there. It's going to get to a point where, as stocks run out, it is going to be, yeah, we're all going to be in a similar situation where it just, you cannot justify purchasing the parts because there's no real point in doing it. It doesn't make sense to do it. Okay, let's turn that on, and the camera turns off. Come back on. Yes, there we go. Right. Good luck, everybody.
Bang!
It seems to work.
What's wrong, Dave? You got something stuck in your tail.
Ooh, it's doing some interesting flashing stuff from the onboard controller. Strobe effects may be present, so do be wary of that. We'll press the RGB button. Should we just cycle through them? They're not going to match up particularly well because the top fans are different from the other ones. It's a slightly interesting light show. You pick a static. Although I just realised the one in the middle is doing something completely different because that is doing... Oh yeah, that's going to be a pain in the ass. That isn't syncing, is it? It's giving me that syncing feeling. And there isn't another AIO header, is there? Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to have to work out, actually.
Firephone asks, will you buy any new PC parts in December or will you wait on 2026?
I think I'll wait. Well, I don't know. It depends if there's any deals.
Dave's found the box, mind.
I'm trying to work out what's going on with this RGB controller. So it's supposed to be, if you press and hold it, it's supposed to go into the motherboard mode, which it has, but it's still doing some crazy ass nonsense here, but yet not doing anything else elsewhere. I am confused. Oh, half of these screws aren't done up. go back to that. So where's the unicorn puke one? There. But yeah, that's still doing something completely different in the middle, isn't it? I wonder actually, where is that button? So I did say there was a button on that, didn't I? Which is in here somewhere. Where did it go? Nobody knows. Where the hell? Right, let's go into the motherboard. There was a button, wasn't there, to change the light? I think I've got to press that. Oh, but I can't find it. Ah, there it is, I think. There we go. So we can find the other end of that. Thank you, Rasher. Much appreciated.
I can't get to the other lights. Too many boxes. You can have the disc.
Towards the Cyber Monday Fund. Thank you.
We thought that was last week. We didn't know why no one had mentioned it.
Wait, is that changed in the middle? Yes. So press and hold. Now that should be in sync. No, it's not. Don't tell me you can only change that with... No, that can't be right. Press and hold. This is confusing as hell. I guess it's because it's in the wrong position, isn't it? Bloody hell, that's going to take some working out. So if I unplug that... No, that is synchronized now, hasn't it? No. I'm confused.com. Thank you, David Underhill. Sent 5 Mike's Unboxing reviews and how-to memberships. One to 406mil, one to Ryan, one to Pepsi, one to Duggan9737. If I missed someone out. Oh, an ordinary dude. Thank you, David Underhill. Much appreciated. I'm really confused about what is going on here. So that has gone to there. So if I unplug that one, is that pump turned off? No, the pump's hot. Right, where's the button gone? Something tells me this might be going back. Right, don't short the pins out. So what does that do now? Right, so it looks like I can only change that. Well, what's up on there? It's turned off altogether. Right, statics. Rainbow puke, and if I press and hold it, in theory that should change it to motherboard mode. But it doesn't seem to. I can't imagine that pump being just static only because it's got ARGB cables coming off it. Wow, this is like super complicated, annoying. Does it need software? No, it should be all just done. I don't know whether there's too many controllers and it's kind of getting upset. So that is the one from the control hub at the bottom. It's like that needs an extension. But I don't have an RGB extension. Oh, I do have an extension somewhere, I'm sure. But it might mean sacrificing one of my cables for the greater good. The greater good. There. Excrement. The thing is, if you're going to have RGB, it's got to be in sync. Otherwise, it's just pointless. So, let me think about this. So, you would have that into there. That doesn't need to be connected, so I need to put the cap back on there. Oh, that wasn't the cap from there. That was the cap from there. I am going to figure this out. You mark my words. Right, so if I plug that into the hub now, he says, I think I'm saying I might invest in actually some RGB extension cables. I did buy some many moons ago. And that is now from... Right, that is from the hub. Out. Out.
Don't go in that one. Wait a second. Careful.
Right, so press and hold that. That should make them all flash. Did it make the middle one flash? No. What the flipping hell? You can't tell me that that center thing only works on a button press. That makes no sense at all. Where's the instructions? I'm sure there was some. Yes, here we go. And that's for the case. That surely can't be a thing. It really can't be. Let's have a look. I did think it was a little bit odd having all those cables coming out of the AIO, but I didn't think too much of it. Yeah, so that is going through, it's got its own built-in controller. If you press and hold the button, you'd think it should go into motherboard mode, which, right, now it's syncing with that. Okay, so that's syncing now. Press that. Right, that's syncing. Flipping hell. They didn't make it easy, did they? Christ almighty. That's kind of nice. Yay! Rainbow puke. Shit. We got there in the end. It's synced now, says Sky. Thank you. So I think I might have to have that button wired somewhere so it's easy to access, just in case it goes out of sync again. Actually, I know what I could do. It's a very skanky method, but there are the holes on the back here, and I could just stick that on there with some super glue or some sort of epoxy and just have that pass in through, so you can just press it on the back there. Sky Silker, yay, rainbow puke. It's not something I had on my bingo card tonight. Hot melt gun, yeah, that would, yeah, hot melt gun would be much better, wouldn't it? So yeah, I can have that in there for easy access, or easier access. But it works, at least it appears to work anyway. I don't like these tubes. That's really annoyed me. And I think those tubes would look better on the other side, which means taking out that fan, which I don't want to have to do. But I think it does make more sense to remove that fan. Because the thing is, you've got three intake fans here on the side, and then you've got 3 exhaust fans from the radiator in the top. So it's going to be a pretty balanced airflow anyway. So I don't think you really need the fan in the back. I think it would look neater without it. But I might just try and sell it as it is and see what the verdict is. We are stuck on something at the moment, which I'm not too sure what light that is. It has got a red light. I suppose I should plug a monitor into it really, just to make sure that it is working, because we haven't seen an actual display out of it, which would be nice. So let's try that. And then after I finish work tomorrow, I can spend many, many moments configuring this bloody thing. What have we got here? USB. It'd be nice to see a display on the screen, or some sort of error message at least. Bless you. Hey, hey. There's me thinking this was going to be an easy one. Do we ever get easy ones these days? What do we got? Have we got anything at all? It would appear not at the moment. So let's turn it off. Silence. Turn it back on again. So now it's syncing from the motherboard, because that's the default Gigabyte BS. Looks like we're going to get a display. Yes, we are. And what does that say? Enable X3D Turbo Mode to boost gaming performance. Do I want to do that? Is that a thing? Some system detects you've installed an X3D CPU. Would you like to enable 3D Turbo Mode for boosting gamer performance? Please note, the option will adjust CPU core and thread counts. Gaming performance improvement may vary by CPU and DRAM condition. You can disable 3D Turbo Mode later. Right, let's enable it then. And I like how the touch thing is like completely out. Oh, well. New CPU and yeah, whatever. I can't press Y because I haven't got a keyboard connected. So that would be nice. But I don't have one, so I can't. I'm sure it just resets it anyway, doesn't it? If you don't do anything. Or does it? I can't remember. It's been such a... I haven't installed a new system for weeks, days, months. I need a keyboard. Have I got a keyboard with USB? And a mouse, for that matter. Don't think I have. Not to hand. What have we got here? No. Oh well, whatever. It works. We can see it's working. That is enough for me. Let's, can we change our RGB? Yes, and it is all still staying in sync. That's hard for me to say. It's actually not a bad little light show, really. It's not over the top, I don't think. The fans on the side are actually quite muted, anyway. And of course, one of the things about this case actually, which kind of annoys me, is the fact that these fans are like really expensive fans, but they've got the bit on the side, the infinity mirror, and also an LCD display, but you can't actually see it on the side one there. So that is more of a reason for me to actually take it out. And in fact, it would probably be better off taking that fan out, putting it onto a 120mm tower cooler, and having it set up like that, so you can actually make use of the display on the side. But anyway, whatever. It's fine. It works. It's powered on. It looks like it's detected all the RAM. Who knows? Right, let's go back to motherboard mode. Press and hold. And yes, we're in good old rainbow puke mode. Woo! Right. Let's turn it off. I'm happy, it works, albeit a little bit later in the stream than I'd actually intended to, but very well. These things do happen, generally to me. Gamdias, Rasher says, doesn't mention the Infinity Mirror RGB. I know the Infinity Mirror is for the fans for the case, not the ones actually in the AIO. Those are just normal traditional fans. Well, normal other than the fact that they're daisy chainable, or they are daisy chained. Right, let's have a look. So, what's the general consensus? Jamie says I'll stick to my 14700K Center of the Sun edition. Silimity says always enable the extra D mode with Gigabyte motherboards, otherwise it will run like a 7600X. Alright, that's interesting. I will have to definitely take a look at that. Sky says it only boosts performance in a few conditions. Windows scheduling will be much better than their BIOS crap. Fair enough. Oh, it disables SMT basically. I'm reading chat. Ugly Bob, not Ugly Bob, Old Bob, sorry. Freudian slip. Oops, sorry, I'm pissed, says Rasher. No problem. Oh, remove the screen banner. Sorry. That's been there for a long time. My mistake. What a shocker for Rasher to be rat-assed on a Friday. It's good. It keeps him out of trouble. Up until the point that he goes on his computer or goes onto Facebook or Discord, in which case then all hell breaks loose. So I probably shouldn't have said, because I've probably just given him an idea now. Where did the white PC go, say Fred? It went, well, it technically hasn't gone anywhere. It's actually upstairs in the loft. So it is still physically here. But yes, it was time for a change. I got to the point where I was getting a little bit kind of bored of the white effect, and also it was starting to age a little bit, as white PCs tend to. So it was getting a little bit stained and what have you. So I thought the best thing to do is to just get it out of the way and do something else for a while, which I am doing. And I'm going to try and get some of this in here. I just thought actually, as soon as I started cable tying all that stuff down, I realised that there is this drive caddy which lives in here, which actually still does fit. I was going to get upset and start cussing, but it looks like it still fits in there, so I will not be doing the cussing. Oh, if I could screw it in, that would be helpful. There we go. John says the only problem I have with AIOs is I want to get matching case fans. That's my OCD. I think Gamdias, like ID Cooling, don't do RGB fans separate on Amazon. There is definitely that to it, yeah. I have actually found with my Lian Li, the V100R case, the Thermalright Aqua Elite fans are almost identical to the ones which are included in it. So by a very lucky twist of fate, my other PC, the video editing PC, everything just matches perfectly in there, and it looks like it's like a stock or a factory AIO that came with the case. It just looks so nice together. Obviously, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as it generally tends to be, but I think it looks absolutely smashing. What a smashing blouse you have. Who was that? That was Harry Enfield, right? I know, aid in at bottom, right? Yeah, matching fans is a nice thing to do if you can. It is an expensive hobby though. Like, saying that, the PC behind me, the thermal take, the matching fans in there cost an absolute fortune. Like, not even remotely sensible money. Oh, Maisie. Bloody flies, not flies, there's cat hairs everywhere. That's the downside of a black PC. Cat hairs and shit like that everywhere. Although, I must say, I am actually getting a little bit bored of the black PC already, so it might go quite...
I think it looks nice. It's that door on it you don't like.
It's not the door, it's just it's just a bit dark for the shot. And it makes the camera do some weird shit for autofocusing. But it's fine. Well. And there we go. There is the PC done. Thank goodness we got there in the end. Jeepers, that's heavy. If I didn't have a hernia, I think I just inherited one. Wow. Okay. Good stuff. Start chucking stuff away. Right, keyboard. Just make sure there's nothing on the phone I've missed. Nope. Now live on your channel. That'd be me. Okay. Right. What else was there? There were some other deals that we got, and I can't think for the life of me now what they were or what I said about them. Can't think for the life of me. Anyway, whatever. John says, I'm stuck on Thermalright, really. On one case I did match Cooler Master Atmos fans, but yeah, it wasn't cheap. Looks nice though. Sinister Chef says, I'm in the process of changing most of my fans to Arctic. To be fair, if Arctic did their fans with the RGB and the PWM coming out of the same place, I would probably use their fans. But it's just so annoying doing cable management with their fans. Out says, that case looks awesome. I do like the look of it, but it's big. To be honest with you, it isn't as big as you would think. In terms of the physical dimensions of that, it's actually smaller than the Series 500, which was there before it. It is surprisingly small, but not small. It still is like a mid-tower case. But that's the trouble. If you want to have the flexibility to have larger radiators and stuff in there, it does get a little bit bigger. They could have, I guess, made it so like there was a half height version, which I think is coming out. I think there's going to be a Thermaltake View 290, or basically a smaller version of that. Oh, you forgot your T mic. I did. You're right, actually. It's still warmish. Which X3D has the cache on both CCDs? I'm not sure, actually. David Under says, my Thermaltake Tower 600 case is the only regret item of my new PC. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Does the 7800 X3D only have one CCD? I'm going to look that up. Because I wasn't sure if it is. I think it does only have one CCD. X3D. God, what am I typing? X3D CCD count. Oh my god, this keyboard's horrible. Does the extra, yeah. Sky says, yeah, the 7800 X3D has 1 CCD. Alright, Mike, have you ever had buyer's regret for PC part? If so, what did you regret the most?
The most? Which one?
Yeah, which one did you regret the most? There have been so many regrets. And some of them for like simple reasons, some of them for like you can buy. The thing is with PC parts, like for instance with the cooler we had today, the AIO, that was a great price, it's great functions, and I was slightly regretting it. But in another case, it is probably going to be fine. So you find that it isn't always specifically the actual part itself, which is the regrettable item. It's how it's worked with the rest of your equipment, which until you build, you generally don't know how that's going to turn out. It's unless it's like a lot of us who do system building on a regular basis, you kind of got your go-to parts which you try and use all the time. It's a little bit unfortunate for me that I try to buy parts which I can then review, so I can't just go to those kind of tried and tested bits and just use those over and over again, because you don't really want to see the same thing over and over, which I completely understand. But I think you do get to a point where there are some parts which you just know it all really works well together. Otis. And there's other bits which possibly don't. In this instance, that cooler didn't work out particularly well because it had to stretch across too far, or the fan blocked it on the other side, so you couldn't wrap it around the other way. So after kind of the pigtail going around the AIO pump, which again, I think I probably will do. As time goes on, I'll see. I'll probably send the guy some pictures of it and just say, look, I have this. Are you interested? And if he says, yes, I'm interested, that'll be kind of like, okay, it's staying as it is. If he says, oh, I don't know, not my thing, then I'll probably take the air out, spin it all around, and then do some pictures for Facebook and all that stuff. Biggest regrets in terms of purchasing, probably most graphics cards, unless I've had a spectacular deal. I think almost every graphics card I buy, I feel like I've spent too much and it isn't worth what I've paid for it. If it wasn't for the fact that I had to do video editing, I probably would still be using a £250 graphics card, because I just don't see the point of spending more money. Like
GT1030 during COVID.
Yeah, the GT1030, that was definitely a regret purchase. The both of the RX 6500s, yes, those also were regrettable. Those were
blame Ugly Bob for them now, can't we?
Yeah, we'll blame Ugly Bob for those because it was his fault. It is his idea. But yeah, I don't think really there's been anything else. There probably is like the odd case or two which I've bought, and then actually saying that, I just bought those Be Quiet 501 cases. I bought a couple of them, and I got to the point now where already I regret buying it, because I thought I'll get the cheaper ones because they're in white. But now it seems that everybody who's asking me for PCs wants a black PC. It's like, oh, I've got loads of white cases and I need black cases now. So those are like stupid regrets, but kind of expensive ones, because I've got 90 quid's worth or 80 quid's worth of cases, which I haven't really got a use for at present. So it is what it is. Intel Arc GPUs, those I would say are always a regret, because you buy them with the intention of wanting to use them, but ultimately you know that probably you won't. I don't know how Intel have managed to keep that graphics card business alive. I know there's a lot of people who are enthusiasts and want to try it and buy them for that reason, but also as enthusiasts generally want the best of the best, and Intel as of yet haven't managed to get a performing graphics card which kind of would be classed as a mid-range, or obviously nowhere near top tier. All the cards they're making are effectively entry-level cards, which The market for those, yes, is larger because there's more people buying them, but they also, it kind of almost gives them a little bit of a stigma that they can't make a fast card, or maybe they can, but they choose not to, which means that a lot of people are going to be put off by it. So yeah, you've got to start somewhere. I do agree with that. They have to start somewhere. They're never going to come out fighting straight away, but in theory they should be able to. Like, they're not new to the graphics market. To discrete graphics, possibly, but to the graphics market in general, they've been making graphics cards or integrated GPUs for, what, 20, 30 years now. So there's not really much of an excuse other than you have to scale that up, which you would think isn't that hard to do, but it seems to be. They are cheap and cheerful, but they're not that cheap and not that cheerful now comparatively with lower end Radeons, which is a shame because you just buy a Radeon. Out now, it says, please do a video on RGB and how to sync all your fans and how to sync your fans in RGB and how to connect. I've searched all of YouTube for a definitive tutorial, but I've found they never explain as an easy guide. There is a reason for that, because RGB and RGB fans in wiring isn't simple, and there are so many variations of how it's implemented with different connectors, different brands, etc, etc. So I would love to be able to do it, but it's not easy to do. But it is something I do want to do. So thank you for the idea though, and I will see what I can do. David says, Intel once had an iGPU from AMD on CPUs. That is true, they did. Sean says, Mike, have you ever used the Nolly RGB hub? It's cracking. No, I haven't. I have actually been sent 2 of them for review. And so far, I've not found a case or a situation where I've had the need to use one. Which sounds terrible, but it's the absolute truth. The thing is with the Nolly controller is excellent, but it's designed in such a way that it's designed to control individual fans. So for those really nice kind of chase effects you get with lights where you can go all around the case and stuff. But if you've got, say for instance, a mixture of fans, so say for instance like in the PC behind me, you've got the thermaltake fans which are block connected together. So those can be addressed individually, but via their software. You can't do it from the Nolly because it just sees it as like however many LEDs repeated. So it's difficult to do, and because there's a lot more block connect fans coming out, or fans which are like 240s or 360s, and the RGB passes through, it's actually harder for the Nolly to recognize what fans are connected to where. Whereas when you've got like one fan, one port, it's really easy. It may have changed slightly, but I do need to take another look at it at some point. I have got a bunch of Prism 4RS fans from Jungle Leopard, I think it is. And those are all individual fans, so I probably will end up doing a video on those using the Nolly controller in some case, but I'm not too sure. I just need the kind of the stars to align a little bit on that before I do it, but I will be doing videos on it. Jamie says, use it on your RGB tutorial. The thing is, that's, again, the Molly RGB hub is going to make things even more complicated than what they already are. Because it's just adding another layer of complexity, i.e. the software. President Tia, do you ever use 140mm fans for a build? Yeah, I do. Well, the previous PC I had up here, the Series 500, that had 140mm fans. Basically 3 in the front, 1 in the back. The top fans I think were 120s, but yeah, I do use 140s as when I can. It's not often that I get the opportunity to use them, really. Sorry, just reading Rasher's joke there. Okay, right. I'll just raise the time. We've gone way over our allotted time. My apologies. Where is my mouse? There we are. Where are we? Okay, so yeah, I think that is going to be... Oh, hang on. James Miscellaneous. I've actually found a use for Windows 11 dynamic lighting, as the RGB software I use does not support my current card. 1 point for Windows 11. Well, one's better than none. Okay, so I think that is going to pretty much wrap this stream up. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Always used to help us. And also thank you all for your kindness, your donations, your comments, etc. It all really helps, especially with the algorithm. If you can share the videos, that would be great. Please share the videos, it helps. Sounds like we're begging, but we are. So thanks everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you next week. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now. Say bye, Kath.
Bye.
Bye.